The words Gotham City are synonymous with crime.
Every punk in this town is scared stiff. They say he can't be killed.
Vicky Vale.
Hi. Bruce Wayne.
And what do you do for a living?
What are you?
I'm Batman. You can call me Joker.
Somebody tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat gets all of my press.
Hello, everyone. As you can probably tell from the title, this is not The Karate Kid. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, we were forced to change days and films. But fear not, viewers, for I have assembled a team of crackheads, crack team of streamers to talk about an all-time classic. First, a guy who's only here because he met the right people and didn't piss them off. With the unenviable inability to not argue with trolls, it's Dark Hour. Next, because of the time zone difference on this show, he is the night. He is Dependence, because Dark Hour is a terrible narrator. He is Catman.
Something went wrong with mine there for a second. It got all weird. What's up, buddy?
Oh, dude, I'm fine, man. What about you?
You didn't even know about these. That's the best part.
No, dude.
What you hear? So, Blue Collar Loser was supposed to be on this stream, but he can't make it. There were some scheduling conflicts there, too. This has been a hard one to put together, so I'm just going to play his just for the fuck of it. So here you go.
Known for getting Mothman seemingly monthly. This guy somehow drinks copious amounts of alcohol and can't seem to hold it for shit. Yet despite that, he's seen seemingly every movie that's come out this year. The Blue Collar Loser.
So, he won't be arriving, unfortunately.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we only have winners here tonight. Okay.
So in his place, we have a debuter, and that is a Semi Three-Peat.
Hey,
what is up, buddy?
Not much. Looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite movies, as I'm sure anyone who's known me for longer than 5 minutes would know.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you on. We've been talking a bit. I told you I was going to get you in as soon as I can, and this just happened to pop up, and this was something you were a specialist in, basically. So it worked out. You just don't get your own custom intro, unfortunately.
It's all right. I think I'll live.
Yeah, okay. Having you on too, host, man.
I'm happy to be here.
Next,
the unexplainable knack for somehow being nostalgic for a time he wasn't even alive for. Also, someone should really tell him he doesn't need to wear 3D glasses out in the real world. Spoiler alert, it's already 3D, bud. Making his return, the first guest we ever booked, the Golden Age Geek.
That's me.
Yeah, Golden Age coming back for some Batman.
And he had the longest chanting because I wanted it to be soccer chanting. So it's like...
very fitting, very fitting. No, I'm glad to be back here talking about Batman 89 this time. Oh, we're in for a treat, aren't we?
Yeah, it sucks because you had to do all that. You had to do all that homework. You had to watch 1 through 87, 1 through 88 to get to 89. It was fucking terrible. But yeah, no, it was really important to me that Golden was on because this is actually our 1-year anniversary. He was the first guest we ever booked, and we also did Batman. Yeah, so it's been a year. Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I was like, whatever movie when the first one fell through, I put out a couple movies up, and I was like, I didn't tell anybody, but whatever one Golden picked, that was going to be the one, no matter what. So it was like it could have been a vote of 5-1, and he would have won.
Yeah, the right to veto everyone.
Nice.
I do not have the right to hold so much power.
Only for this stream you had. It was I wanted to make sure that you were on this one. So, but we have two more guests. And I'm actually going to put a slight announcement on this one. He actually wins the 3rd Ho Award this year because he's been on the most streams. And let's just see who that is.
Able to easily double the length of any stream he's on with his near endless lung capacity. The man who's always in the bottom right-hand corner, the spectacular Stupenzo.
That'd be over in the right-hand corner. Yes, he's always in the right hand corner of his screen for some reason. So I had to point that out.
Yeah, I like my rule of thirds. It's like just like Golden Age, you know. Yeah. You want to be like. I just like angering Ryan Roger a bit, you know, because I know he gets upset about that. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I guess I've been here a whopping 8
times now. Yeah,
it's so funny because you make it seem like I've been here like 25 times or something when you say that.
I mean, this is only number 28. You've been more. You've been in more than 10%. More than 30% of them.
Wow, so good. Okay, there you go. I guess that makes sense. It's funny when you go get pizza and they say like unlimited toppings. That usually just means eight toppings.
Yeah.
So
this is your last topping, is what you're saying.
For now.
And yes, but we have one last person also debuting.
And last, the newest hoe. She's based, she's brown, you've seen her all around. With the power to demonetize your stream in a minute flat, it's Vex Electronica.
Yay! Why is it the gayest? Yay!
That's what I was thinking too.
It just ended up
reaction.
So I downloaded like 4 or 5 different versions, and that just happened to be the one that was left when I got to yours. And I was like,
it sounds like one of those yays you hear in the Lego movie. It's like, yeah,
I love it. It's perfect. Thank you. Pleasure to be here for the first time.
Yeah, dude, Vex. I can't believe this is your first time on the fucking show, dude.
Well, we used to be too early for her. Now we're like in the
because it conflicted with my work schedule when you guys were on Saturdays, and then you moved to 3 p.m. on Saturdays. I was like, oh, I could probably make most of those. And now you're on a Sunday. Yeah, I can totally make it. I just wish it were for a movie I actually liked.
Boo, Vex. Don't you like Michael Keaton? Don't you like Jack Nicholson?
I like the actors of this movie. I like the performances they give. I even love the general aesthetic and artistry of it. Yeah. I just cannot, for the life of me, get on board with it because the plot is so flimsy.
Comic books, you know?
Yeah.
I rewatched the first 2 X-Men movies, and except for the stupid Matrix-inspired costumes, it's just a solid comic book movie. But this one, is a little hokey for sure.
Yeah.
First time watching it in a while, and I started really noticing like the color palette, like the creams and pinks and blacks and browns and greens and oranges. It was amazing.
You're just gonna name every single color?
Just the ones that are in the movie, yes.
No yellows, not a lot of yellows, unfortunately.
The only emblem. Yeah, the emblem is pretty much the only yellow you see.
Not a lot of blues either, except for like some nighttime stuff. But yeah, mostly like charcoal is like the main color for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it's great to have you guys all on. Like I said, this was a fun one to try and put together because originally it was supposed to be Karate Kid, then it turned into this. Then we lost guests, we gained guests. It was this really put my scheduling prowess to the test, I will say.
But, yes. But just wanted to say hello to everyone in the chat. We have Max Lemieux. It's a French name, dude. That's a French name.
Do you have uninspired car?
Yeah. That's a French name, man.
Could you imagine that? Like he was just like, I stole his car and I'm in his I'm watching his stream from his car.
Yeah. If you have uninspired car, please return it immediately. All right.
Hostman, you haven't seen the movie. Listen, this was my first time seeing the movie in like I don't know how many years. So I had basically zero recollection of anything except for Michael Keaton saying I'm Batman. But even that is from the Lego Batman movie that I have the recollection. So that's it. And we have Amelia Bodelia. Hey, Amelia. Who else do we have? Oh my God, it's Melvin. Melvin Deeply's in the chat.
Oh man, what are the odds of him being in the chat?
The doctor. Iceman is here. The chicken. This one is hot.
Kim Basinger. Yeah, this was like peak Kim Basinger.
Oh yeah.
Dude, she reminds me of my ex Alexis when she went through her blonde phase. It was like, wow. Can't believe I got to tap that.
We've got Nadia here. Nadia, hey, and let me check. Oh, look.
Yay!
Alex.
Why is he not on this panel? I figured he would have been.
Honestly, here. I just tried to get people that I knew were generally available and had chemistry. That was the base because we didn't have much time to put it together. So
it's a Joker joke, chemistry.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Oh, dude,
I don't have chemistry with half this panel. What do you mean? I only have chemistry.
Well, originally Blue Collar Loser was supposed to be on here.
All right. Well, speaking of blue collar, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good segue into the super chat. So, blue collar loser for $5. Darkar, you want to take this one?
Sure. Hey, chumps. I hope you're on when I'm done with Lance. Love this movie. Watching it with my kid. Jack earned the check as Joker. The music is perfection.
Yeah, I think Jack Nicholson was playing, Jack Nicholson on cocaine, man. That was pretty much it.
Just Jack Nicholson then is what you're
Jack
saying.
Nicholson, yeah, of course. And Max Lemieux for $6.99 Canadian.
Yes, Canadian.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Vex money. There it is.
Vex money
for the laugh. Ka.
That's head splitting as you talk money right there.
Quick question: is anyone familiar with the Batman comics on this panel?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just had like a general question because my familiarity of Batman is more or less strictly from some of the TV shows and the movies. So rewatching this, I'm just wondering, is the way that they choose to portray the Joker as well as Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne doesn't really have a personality. He's just kind of there so we know that Batman has a way into the plot easily. Are these like accurate representations or versions of what we've seen in the comic books, more or less?
No.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne's a lot more funny than he normally is in this movie, and I like him funny. He's great. As you know, Michael Keaton had like a background in improv. Joker's always been like pretty. That's what Jack Nicholson said why he loved the Joker. Reading about he was a big fan of the comics growing up, and he said Joker was his favorite because his sense of humor is quote so tasteless. Which is kind of on brand, but yeah, like you guys have been saying, he's just got free reign to do whatever he wanted, which means just play himself basically.
And this was before a time where Batman was really in the cultural zeitgeist like it is now. So when Paramount Plus dropped, I was watching that show Double Dare, and they asked
Nickelodeon
Bruce Wayne's alter ego was in an episode in like 1984, and these kids could not answer it. They didn't know that it was Batman.
Yeah, well, because there was the Batman Adam West show, and then that stopped, and then all through the 70s and half the 80s, there was no Batman stuff except the comic books.
And in all those cartoons, Batman was pretty much always Batman. You didn't really until like Batman the animated series really see
the Super
him
Friends.
Walking around you didn't see him walking around as Bruce Wayne or anything like that. He was with the Super Friends, so he was already in the cape. He was with Superman. So I mean, I'm sure they knew who Batman was as a character, but they didn't know like his backstory or anything like that.
Pretty cool contrast to the Superman cartoon where they always would show Clark Kent as well, because it's like, everyone used to know Clark Kent was Superman, but it's so weird to hear that people didn't know that Bruce Wayne was Batman. I mean, it is cool. No one knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
This was also this version of Joker was extremely new to the style. They never really did up to this point. Joker was always just really the clowny type, with honestly probably the closest one to what he really was the
Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero. That's probably the closest.
Yeah, but even at that time, that was Silver Age, so they had to tone the Joker down. Like, so he had the laughing fish, and he would, like, he didn't kill anybody. He would just like rob a bank and
rewatching this one, I realized like he kills a shitload of people in this movie.
So they actually eventually had to kind of justify it in the comics. That's when they did the storyline, the Three Jokers, which one accounts for the more gangster style one from this movie. And that's kind of how they got around that, because for years that people were like, well, why does he keep changing his style? Whereas like Batman was pretty consistent for the most part.
I remember everyone. This was the first time seeing Batman just wearing black. Yeah, and it was like, dude, why haven't we thought of this earlier? I mean, in the comic books, he's usually got gray and blue, or maybe like gray and dark gray
shadows. He should be wearing black.
Well, it was always in the comics. It makes sense for him to be wearing slightly lighter than black, because when it's against a black background, you have to be color coding. But yeah, it was definitely the suit for this one was very much an upgrade. And I've always said that like the Batman show and the movie from the 60s was fun for its time, but it did a lot of damage to Batman's brand. And if you look at the comics in throughout the 70s, he was treated very like childlike, and it was a lot of like really whimsical storylines, and they took away a lot of the darkness from his character.
Well, no, the 70s is when they brought it back.
The 60s. Sorry, the 60s. The 70s was when they took it back.
That's when he had the smile. And,
very Green Arrow vibes, like.
And it's the 70s and especially the 80s is when they took it back.
Yeah, when Denny O'Neil came on as what do you call it? Senior editor. He basically brought everything back. I think it was an issue called The Joker's 5-Point Revenge. And they were like, hey, this guy's a killer. Let's make him a killer.
Well, I was just talking about overall just Batman comics in general.
Oh, yeah.
They really came back right before this movie came out was really when they started to peak with the darkness of Batman. And that's one of the reasons why I think they went the route of it, the very Gothic looking everything. And
well, Dark Knight Returns had dropped a couple years before. And Sam Hamm, he also wrote for the comics, and he had this script, and they were peddling it through like a bunch of different people, and it went through a bunch of different iterations. So Jack Nicholson was always their number one pick to play the Joker, but they didn't know if they wanted to get away from the campiness. So originally, they had they were thinking about casting Bill Murray as Batman and Eddie Murphy as Robin. So if you could think of how
I love it.
Let's do it.
Which there's an alternate universe where that movie got made, and I probably would have loved it just as much.
Dude, they use like the one insult to have Eddie Murphy say "motherfucker." I would just be sold instantly.
Yeah,
I would have loved
Batman.
I would have loved if it was Bill Murray playing it as his character from Caddyshack. Like, I am the knight. I am Batman.
I just want to see Robin do the Eddie Murphy laugh.
But yeah, so we've already kind of started with this, so I guess we'll go into it formally. We'll do the round table of everybody's first time with this film.
But just before, we have Melvin for £2 who says, "Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is shit," ladies and gentlemen.
I don't even know if we have to read this one anymore. I think he's done this super chat every single time since we did.
It's true every single time. You're king, Melvin, a king.
Yeah, and go watch The Hateful Eight instead.
So yeah, I guess did Sammy just disappear on us, or is he just showing us something? I'm not really.
Yeah, I love that commercial.
There is
Diet Coke.
It's Alfred.
Sammy, I guess if you want to start with the I mean, you sort of already did, but if you want to go a little bit further.
No, this was just a movie that I had. This was one of my favorites growing up. I probably beat this movie into the ground. This and Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Back to the Future were probably my go-tos as a kid. But so I was 2 when this released. But for some reason or another, my parents just kind of figured it's Batman. We'll just let them watch it. My first CD was the Batman soundtrack, and they didn't realize it was a Prince album. So this movie's been with me my entire life, and I probably watch it like every couple months. It's definitely one of my favorite films. You can argue objectively, like, yes, I don't think it's the best film ever made. I don't even think it's the best Batman film. But it's just one of my favorite films. I'll always find myself coming back to it. I love the aesthetic. And I know a bunch about it. I've always been kind of a Tim Burton guy, and this feels like the most controlled Burton film. This is the least Burton-y Burton film. The least crazy Burton. Yeah.
Well, they really crank it up in the next one. They took the reins off a little bit. They handed him the reins, I should say, and just let him kind of do whatever he wanted, and it went interesting directions, to say the least.
Yeah, some argue that it works. I think the only reason that the studio didn't like it is because they didn't sell a lot of Happy Meals. So
it's because they didn't have fish in the Happy Meals. That's why. I guess we'll go with let's go with Vex. Let's go with the two debutantes.
Oh, a debutante. Well, thank you very much. First time I saw this movie.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, your background
first
with it.
memory.
First time you saw it, or at least your best memories with it, or whatever.
I guess I would have. I remember I'd seen this accidentally on TV, probably when I was like around 8 or 9 or 10, somewhere around there. I grew up with the Batman animated series. I sometimes tune into that, so that had really been my only exposure to Batman before I saw this movie. But I don't really much like Uninspired. I don't remember the movie, and then rewatching it for this stream, I was like, oh, I guess I kind of understand why I didn't rewatch it. I don't think this is a very good movie, and I say that strictly as just a movie goer because I don't have the background comic knowledge that you guys have, and I'm also not a diehard Batman fan, but I like the aesthetic. I think the performances are more or less very good, but it's just not a good film at the core of it. So yeah, I'm just like I'm kind of whatever about this movie.
Okay, well, can't win them all, I guess. Stupenzo.
Man, I talked about this on the Ninja Turtle stream that I did a while back, but one of my earliest memories is the Ninja Turtles movies and in the theater, and also this movie in the theater. And technically this would have been before that. So yeah, my earliest memory going to the movies is I don't know, it must have been when did this movie come out?
89.
I was 4 years old. All right. Walking into a movie theater. I remember it's the GMC General Movie Cinema in the Sunland Park Mall in El Paso. And you walk in the theater and all the lights are red, because it's that they don't dilate your eyes, red lights. It looks cool. And I remember specifically walking in the line, single file into the movie theater, holding a little a stuffed Batman, a doll, a Batman doll that I just got from the movie theater. And I still have it somewhere back there. I was looking for it. But yeah. And then, yeah, it's just like Sammy. It's like one of those movies you have on VHS. So naturally you just watch it once a week or some shit like that, whatever, until the tape burns out or whatever. But it's funny watching it this time. It had been several years since I had seen it really. And I still pick up new stuff. Just in terms of production and various other things. But yeah, it's a fun, silly movie. It's okay if you don't like it as long as you agree the Batman was worse. It doesn't drag. It doesn't, it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a lot of convoluted plot holes, but you know what? If you're over here asking how did Jack Nicholson know to bring that 5-foot long revolver with him, it doesn't matter. You're asking the wrong questions, if you see this movie.
My question about that is always, how did he walk with that down his pants? It
extends.
Third leg walk. Oh yeah, it does telescope, doesn't it? Yeah.
There's no holes, and you're not going to find any holes in this movie. Perfect movie.
Perfect film.
No, I think Stupenzo's right. This was definitely one of the movies where my parents, when they were going out for the night, they went to the babysitter hey, if he's being a little asshole, put on Batman. He'll sit down. He'll chill out.
So yeah, that leaves Golden. What is your earliest or most recent, or however you want to do it, experience with this movie?
Well, I can't exactly pinpoint when I watched this movie. I just know that it's been with me for most of my life. It's just one of those things where you don't really remember being introduced to it, but it's just always, sort of there, and you always had, oh, Batman. I know that. I've seen that. Oh, I'll go and watch that. That's a fun movie. No, so I've always had this film with me. It sort of imprinted itself on me in terms of its visuals, its distinct look, and especially the soundtrack. As someone who played a lot of the Lego Batman games back in the day that were heavily inspired by this movie, and it's clear it just feels like it's essential to me. That's how much I just bonded with it, and everything about it I just think is incredible. Even the flaws, you kind of just understand the tongue-in-cheek nature of it and sort of go along for the ride because it's that charming, and it's just something that you accept. And I don't know if I'm the person who thinks a bit differently on this issue, but I actually prefer Returns, and I know that Dark Hour and Uninspired Reviewer don't think so. I think I'm right in saying that.
Listen, dude, I prefer Batman Forever because it has "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal, dude. That's pretty much all I need.
I had that. It is the most sensual of the Batman movies.
Yeah,
dude, yeah, man. Listening to Seal talk about cocaine, sing about cocaine.
Not only that, Forever has like Offspring and Flaming Lips and shit on the soundtrack.
Batman Forever had like the most over the top licensed music soundtrack of all time.
Absolutely, you too with that terrible song. But yeah, I was saying Batman Returns is a bigger. Batman Returns is more of a Tim Burton movie. This is kind of more of a Batman movie.
It was also more ambitious, I think, because with the two villains, the clearly larger budget, more even more big name actors just kind of showing up for random parts. It was more ambitious. Actually, that's my earliest memory of Batman is actually going to see Returns in theaters, kind of similar to Stupenzo. I actually can't recall when I saw this one first. I've always liked this one a little bit better. I just felt I always liked the way that Gotham looked in this one with all the miniatures and stuff. And the one thing I do have a problem with it always is that it feels very empty. Like there's not a lot of people in this giant city, especially when they go to like they do like the press conference. There's like 7 people there. And that was a problem with like cinematography. I'm sure we have a still of it where if they would.
Dude, I just realized that there were a lot of people at that conference.
Yeah,
it was at 7 a.m. to be fair. No, I'm just
but yeah,
I mean, that is kind of a downside, and maybe that's kind of well, the reason that was the case probably because it's a product of its time in some sense. I know you could probably find some exceptions, but
it was probably just budgetary reasons.
They have to hire extras. Yeah,
they probably didn't. They probably didn't hire a bunch of extras.
You can't just clone stamp people in there with a computer.
Well, and
they should have done what they did in Star Wars. They should have painted some people on.
Right. Very hush hush on the production. They didn't want a lot of people on the set. And and it was hard to keep it under wraps because like at Pinewood Studios, they had built like 2 city blocks for Gotham, and I mean, there's videos on YouTube of people walking around on the set. It is enormous, and
well, when I say small, I don't necessarily mean scale wise.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, one of the things I always found funny about the Tim Burton movies is they all. Well, I guess the entire original continuity, not just Tim Burton, but also the Schumacher. It's that you can always see the breath. It doesn't matter what time of year it's supposed to be. If it's nighttime in Gotham, it's cold, and it's always been kind of like a running gag with them. It's been that I enjoy.
Yeah,
that's true.
I was trying to think about what month this takes place in because it seems cold. It seems wintertime.
Yeah, but they never actually. I don't think they ever actually specifically state in this one. In the second one, in Returns, it's around Christmas.
Obviously,
yeah,
definitely.
But in this one, I don't think they ever state specifically. But there is a giant parade going on, and you know what? I guess you just have to look up when Gotham.
Yeah, but everyone's wearing like wool trench coats, and
it's probably in November or something. I'd guess. I'd say around Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's January, the New Year.
Yeah, well, Gotham City is in New Jersey too, so.
Oh, well, if it was January, it'd probably be like snowing and stuff, like real cold.
That's legit. I'm not joking about that. Gotham City.
No, it is.
New Jersey. Yeah.
Well, we got in a conversation. It has been since like 74, 77.
They put it in the official. What was it? The Encyclopedia of Batman.
Yeah, I thought it was just like when Kevin Smith was writing for it. I thought because but it's been established for quite.
They've shown Bruce Wayne's license in comics, and it does say New Jersey on it. Where it's actually located on the Encyclopedia map coincides with Atlantic City, the Atlantic City area. Which would make sense because it's the mob and all that stuff was very heavily involved with the start of Atlantic City in New Jersey, so it would make sense that was the location that they chose.
All right, well, that was it, right? So you did it, yeah. Me, first memory of the film was being a kid. I used to have all the Batman movies on like one DVD, and up until I think it was Batman Begins, so I had seen this one once or twice. That was pretty much it. But I also had all the 3 Spider-Man movies on the same DVD, so I would mostly watch Spider-Man instead. However, rewatching this for the first time in I don't know how many years, I was pleasantly surprised by how good the film looks and how great the production design is. Also, the fact that you can tell where all the Arkham games got a ton of their inspiration from.
Oh yes.
At least up till Origins. I wouldn't say Arkham Knight. Well, maybe Knight because of like the gas and Scarecrow stuff, but there's a gas attack in every single Arkham game. I don't know what the fuck the problem is with Gotham and gas, man. It's crazy. But
it's just an easy thing to do for mass panic.
Well, even in Batman Begins, wasn't it like a gas attack or something like that?
Yeah, it was through the pipes. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man.
It was fear. It was Scarecrow's fear toxin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think it's easy. Like it's so easy to make a gas undetectable for most people. It's just convenience more than anything, I feel.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of being overplayed in the Batman universe.
In this one, it's funny, and I was gonna save this comment for later, but like he starts dropping gas on the one block, and everyone runs around the corner, and the gas doesn't somehow get to the other block.
Yeah.
He's on the one that they're on.
Well, he's also nice enough to color code his gas, so you know that you're being poisoned. You know, it doesn't
Yes,
sound like odorless or colorless or anything like that. That'd be real bad.
You can clearly just run away from the gas, dude.
Yeah. I didn't breathe any green air, so I'm okay.
Oh man. Well, Dark Hour, it is your time to shine.
I hate when you do this. So we have the the intro credits, which lead into obviously Gotham City, which looks fantastic to me, in my opinion.
Yeah,
this
is really
Gotham.
Yeah, but also like the opening credits, I remember getting so psyched about this this Batman emblem, and also just really Danny Elfman really solidifying himself as like a worthy film composer, because he kind of jokingly did it for Big Top Pee-wee, and this is kind of where people really the score sells the whole movie.
It looks so good, man.
This is like Blade Runner vibes right here.
Yeah.
So
it looks like a lived-in city. It doesn't
overpopulated.
Look like it's it's
so
overpopulated.
they hired an architect, and he basically took designs, and what Burton said was, imagine New York City if like they didn't have any zoning laws or any type of building laws. So he took things that architecturally when you're doing like city planning don't aesthetically go together to make it look like this insane Frankenstein of a city, where it was just like, oh well, all this got approved because Gotham City is corrupt all the way down to even like its bureaucrats and its politicians, where they're just approving everything. So, and you can really see this here, where you got, it's almost like crisscrossing. It looks cavernous. It looks like, it doesn't look like a safe place to be.
It also like something straight up of a Leica movie, dude, for real.
It also has vibes from different cities too. So like obviously the basic city a lot of people think of is usually New York. It has some of that, but then if you look, it has like the sky bridges from what you would see in more northern, really cold cities like Minneapolis has those kind of sky bridges. And so I do agree with you on that there's kind of a they just added shit as they felt it would be necessary, and there was no rhyme or reason sometimes in the lore, I would say.
Yeah. So, and like moving forward in the continuity, like they just kind of totally go nuts with it with the Art Deco, and then they just put the Statue of Liberty in Gotham for like no reason. And
Statue of Liberty is also in New Jersey.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because you got like standard it's kind of this timeless vibe, there's like a lot of like this couple that we see at the beginning, that's like, they're like kind of remnants from the 50s.
But you also that's being held at gunpoint.
But you also see like 80s, like punk rockers, and a bunch of all the cars are very 80s, and it's just it's kind of all over the place. But what's interesting is it's the same alley, obviously, that Bruce's parents were killed. So you think, like, is he just staking out this one place?
Yeah, he just hides out there.
Yeah,
I mean, it is called Crime Alley, so that's a good place to start. I do like we already glossed over it. So these tourists are like looking around. He's like, I know where we are, and then the hooker approaches the 8-year-old kid, like,
"What's up, baby?"
That's only my second favorite time that a hooker approaches a child in a movie. But my first one is in Home Alone 2.
You guys, haven't you guys...
want me to read you a bedtime story?
They like laughing at him. I also, what about that movie Milk Money? Right, that was a good one where those kids save up their milk money to go pay Melanie Griffin, who's a prostitute, to show him her boobies.
What?
Yeah, and then she moves in with them and starts dating his dad, Ed Harris. It's a crazy, stupid movie. Check it out.
This is a great point from Gord King, by the way. It's like, why would the officials officially name it Crime Alley? I mean, it's like you're inviting trouble. Am I right?
It's nicknamed Crime Alley.
Yeah.
So like it's a chicken or the egg situation, I think, is what Gord King is saying. It's like, was it nicknamed Crime Alley, and then everyone's like, oh, hey, let's go do crime there, or did the crime start first and then they nicknamed? I know it's
It's also Park Row, and they named it Crime Alley after the Waynes got killed.
Right. Because that would make no sense why, Thomas Wayne would take his kids his family into Crime Alley, but it does make sense why these tourists do it, because they don't know. And there's the little kid reading it on the map, like, let's not go down this way, please. It says Crime Alley on the map.
Dad?
One of my favorite things about this movie, and I love that it's kind of a fake out. So at first they don't really tell you who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't specifically state like, oh, these aren't the Waynes. So you kind of think you're seeing, especially if you've seen later versions, because it's obviously become done to death at this point. But you're kind of you're seeing what you think is the Wayne family murder, and it's not. It turns out it's completely different. It's not that at all. And I still, to this day, every time I watch it, I almost kind of get faked out every time. Like, oh yeah, wait a minute, they don't actually show that until way later in this movie. I don't know if anybody else kind of gets that vibe off.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to, like, it's one of those things, like, if you know, but at the time, like I told you earlier, this isn't a well-known thing, so they actually play it off like it's a big reveal. I mean, only now with all this Batman pop culture stuff that we have, do we get used to seeing the pearls falling in slow motion and everything. That's all from this. You know,
slow motion or ultra high definition.
I argue.
Zack Snyder zooms in on one pearl, it turns around. It's like, and it says on the other side of the pearl, it's like, shouldn't have went down that street, bitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like Golden, do you get that sense? Because you kind of were, obviously you were born later. This was you already kind of had that zeitgeist concept of it. That's what you're going to see in a Batman movie. When you first, if you can recall, the first time you watched it, did you think that was the Waynes?
Well, it's strange because even though I've seen this film many times and I know that comes later, whenever I watch the beginning, I always think, oh, we're going to see the Wayne death. And now I kind of have to tell myself, oh, no. That's later. Yeah, it's so strange, isn't it? Because, and of course, they're framed to be very similar, but it's so weird how it does that sort of trick of the mind. But yeah, I was already kind of aware from various games and things like that about the Wayne, the death of Wayne's anyway. But yeah, the film does a very good job at playing with your mind.
So, and obviously it's these are the two criminals that do it, who are, the first one is pretty interesting because he's kind of like draws them in, like, hey, give me $1, and then like they walk past him, kind of like speed past him into the actual trap, which is a pretty interesting way that they frame it. And
they seem like crackheads.
Yeah, they don't kill them, which is good. They just rob the shit out of them. And these people are carrying a lot of money, might I add, like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Batman sees the whole thing go down, which
they're
I
tourists,
love,
I guess.
Yeah, and I love the, like, I don't know how they did it, the like top down version where you see him spin in the cape. It looks very almost like animated into it, but I don't think it was. But I don't remember their names, but the guy on the left is very scared because
guilty conscience.
Guilty conscience. He's heard about the Batman. The other guy is quite literally the opposite.
It's so weird, like what they say about the Batman too, because they're like, he fell down they're talking about their old buddies. They're like, he fell down 5 floors.
5 floors, no blood, and he's like, it was all on the street.
Yeah, over the pavement.
He got all wasted and took a dive off a roof. Man.
Yeah,
that's all that happened.
There ain't no bat.
I also love, I don't know if it's these actors themselves or the makeup department, but they truly look like heroin addicts.
Yeah, they look very
They're like pale and sickly, and their eyes are all red. And it's like,
also, they did a really good. Either they picked really good, or the makeup department did a really good job of making.
They literally just pulled 2 heroin addicted actors. They're asking them in their audition, "Are you do heroin?" Oh yeah, I'm like got the shakes right now. All right, you're on the top of the list. Yeah.
Also, if you know anything about Batman, why would he wait until they finished the job?
That's what I was about to ask.
Them on the roof, like he's like, no, I'm gonna let them traumatize this kid first.
Yeah, because like I don't know, did they knock out the old dude? Or did they just murder him?
They knock out the dad, and then they pulled the gun on the ma and says, "Do the kid a favor, don't scream." And then he immediately fucking screams.
I mean, how do you think Bruce Wayne became a billionaire? You think he returns this money to the people? No, he ain't Superman. He's Batman.
Actually, that's one thing I always find funny, no matter how many times I watch this. So he I don't now. Of course, I didn't do these slides. So
oh wait, let me just play the let me play the
go ahead.
Hey, shut up, man. Listen to me. There ain't no bat.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
I love the I'm Batman.
Well, he really does have to come up with a better attack plan than show up, get shot, and then like do the spooky come back to life to scare him. I mean, it's cool, it's effective, but I mean, you literally just took 3 bullets to the chest like a chump.
If you do this today, people would fucking laugh at you the same way they laughed at Kick-Ass the first time that he tried to fight people in the street. You know, they'd be like, "Dude, it's just a dude in a costume. We can beat this motherfucker up."
I don't know if you had no concept and the word was going around that this guy's like some sort of supernatural
blood. Yeah.
Also, you see it when he holds the criminal over the ledge. You see his shoes. Those are the original Jordans.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Those were there. Also, when he says "I'm Batman," he was supposed to say "I am the Knight," and it didn't work out. And it was just kind of like one of those, like the Han Solo thing, like I love you too, and then I love you, I know, and then so he did a take. He said "I'm Batman." They're like, "Nope, that's better. We're gonna do that."
I to this day, I think this is the best Batman costume.
I mean, not only, and that's the thing.
I think it's a little bit more streamlined in returns.
Yeah, the cape is obviously like being helped. Like it's either got like rods in the cape or like there's wires holding it come up. But like
they don't quite justify it. They don't quite justify it like they do in like Batman Begins, where he electrifies it and it takes shape or anything like that. But I'm okay with that. They were also working within some pretty decent limitations at this point for this movie. So
I know everyone makes fun of the neck. I know everyone makes fun of him not turning the neck, but the idea is like he's wearing like body armor, not rubber, or maybe it's some kind of super rubber.
Was that Vex? Were you saying something?
No,
I was gonna say I was gonna bring up how it's hilarious at points if you pay attention where he's just simply turning to the side and he moves his entire torso and like moves backwards to look up, and yeah, it is. I understand the technical reasons behind it, but yeah, it is because of his sudden movements and how we.
Well, they make fun of it in The Dark Knight, even. Where you want to turn your head. You know?
Yeah, I mean, because realistically, if you wanted to get at Batman, it was like approach him from the side, or behind.
So in the lore of the comics, one of the reasons why his logo is yellow is so that way. So that's the most bulletproof part of his armor.
Yep.
And it's so that way, like he has armor, but it gets less protected as it gets further away from his core. So the logo is actually like almost like a solid plate. So if they shoot at that, it just bounces off.
Yeah, there's actually different like things throughout the comics where people do shoot it and you see it's very armored.
Yeah.
Under and it's a psychological trick because
I mean this Batman is basically indestructible in comparison to Christian Bale. Dude. Christian Bale got like 1 bullet and died almost.
Yeah, Christian Bale just he fought crime for a year and lost all the cartilage in his knees.
Pretty much. But thank God he had that magical knee brace.
Yeah.
I love that every press conference has like 500 microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I want to get, like, if I ever replace this microphone, I want to get one that looks like one of those old school.
I have one.
Ones. Yeah. Those are always cool to me. Go ahead, Vex.
Oh, sorry. I had a question about this scene because it's
no, Harvey
really...
Dent wasn't always black. No, he wasn't always black.
Okay, I was about to say. So I'm just like, I'm wondering, was there any I don't know if any of you guys were old enough to remember at all or even alive, but was there cause for concern when they race swapped him? Or because Billy D. Williams, I think, was at the height of his career.
Yeah,
it's Billy D. Williams.
This was back in the day when this would be a cool casting choice. People were actually way more worried about Keaton at the time.
Yeah, Mr. Mom.
because Keaton up to that point was primarily a comedic actor,
and
they had there's a lot of
he couldn't bring him back for Christopher Walken's character in Batman Returns was supposed to be Harvey Dent, and the way that he becomes Two-Face is when Michelle Pfeiffer kisses Christopher Walken's with that electric wire. That's how he was supposed to get burned.
Yeah. And I also read something. I don't know if it's true, but I did read this somewhere. Because the acid in this movie turns Jack Napier's skin white. What they were gonna do is, because we have Billy D. Williams playing Harvey Dent, when he was gonna have the acid thrown on him, and it would create a sort of area of white on his face that would kind of be like a visual metaphor for the light and the dark. They were going to try and play on that a little bit.
No, he was always going to be burned. Cool. It wasn't acid that he was dropped in. It was like a chemical soup.
Yeah.
I don't know if whiteface would work so well, honestly.
Well, Prince ended up doing what you talk about in his music video for Bat Dance, where he had the thing. But no, that was his plan all along. It was supposed to be Billy D. Williams, and that was going to set up the third one. And he was going to introduce Robin in Batman Returns as well. And that was supposed to be one of the Wayans brothers, I think.
Marlon Wayans. That was actually one of the questions in our either our first or second trivia night.
Yeah,
I think I've seen Tim Burton's sketch for what he was gonna have for the Robin suit in Returns.
You know what's pretty awesome?
Similar to sorry, buddy.
Now, say what's pretty awesome is Billy D. Williams was contractually obligated to be the next Tommy Lee Jones, or sorry, Two-Face. But when Tommy Lee Jones got the part, they actually had to pay Billy D. Williams to not be in Batman Forever. How awesome is that?
That is awesome. I think Tommy Lee Jones is such a missed opportunity in that one, because if he would have played it like he does in every other Tommy Lee Jones movie,
slow speaking,
flip the coin, like an Agent K. I was like, that would have been in juxtaposition with Jim Carrey's Riddler, that would have been a very dynamic pair of villains, and
Schumacher
them playing
liked the
off
Adam
each
West
other.
stuff.
Kind of would have been like a Cable Deadpool thing, and I think that would have been a way better movie.
Probably.
I agree.
So at the beginning of
things, that was the problem. Go ahead, Golden.
At the beginning of Batman Forever, Tommy Lee Jones, when he first introduces Two-Face, he actually does play it a bit more reserved and slow speaking, and then it just completely flips. And I think if he'd stuck with that,
I agree.
Jim Carrey's like the highest paid actor at the time, and you see what he's doing on set, so it's kind of instinctive for actors to just kind of, I don't know, if someone's hamming it up that hard, it's hard not to like match it.
Didn't work out because
it's terrible.
Pretty common story. Tommy Lee Jones told Jim Carrey that he hated him.
I can't sanction your buffoonery.
Yeah, so I was like, I maybe he's just kind of like, if you can't beat him, join him.
What's funny is it still bothers Jim Carrey that he said that to him. That's the best.
But yeah, so basically this, I don't remember the exact context of the press conference here, but what it ends up doing is what? Yeah, but I don't remember the specific one, but it ends up going toward the, how are we going to deal with it? And then Batman does get brought up at one point. And it's essentially going forward. It's one of the running things is that nobody really even knows what Batman is. There's a lot of rumors that he's an actual 6-foot giant bat, which I love that version of, especially when they show the drawing later. Like the business suit,
which was actually drawn by Bob Kane.
Yes,
nice.
Man,
yeah, you can see its signature right on there.
And we have
Batman for Man Bat.
Yeah, here we have Jack Napier, who's going to end up being the Joker, and I forget her name all of a sudden. It was Alicia.
Alicia.
Alicia. Yeah, Alicia, and she's very
for the panel. Alicia or Vicky Vale?
Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale
for sure.
Vicky Vale, not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah,
that is like Kim Basinger at her hottest. Like it's not even close. This chick looks like I could find like 10 of her. I can't.
She's like a proto Harley Quinn in this movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Now, from my understanding, Jack Napier is not a comic book accurate name. This is a name they made up for the movie, right?
No, actually, pretty much the entirety of how they do a Joker in this one is not. He wasn't the one who killed Batman's parents. That was Joe Chill. I
don't like that.
Okay, I will argue that it's fine if because they didn't know this movie was going to get a sequel, or anything, so it's contained.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Was on top of that, it was for streamlining purposes.
Yes,
it was. But yeah, so there's a lot of non-comic accurate things. The fact that this version of Batman is very cool with killing people. He's all about killing people. He literally says he's going to kill people.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the stuff with like Harley Quinn came first in the animated series. A lot of stuff from this movie inspired a lot of stuff from subsequent comic books. Just kind of taken from because Batman '89 is like the highest grossing film of this year internationally, or no, domestically, and lost internationally to some Indiana Jones movie.
And then we got the guy with the best freaking IMDb page ever.
Porkins.
It's legitimately Porkins. Yeah,
it is. I was like, he's in Star Wars, he's in Indiana Jones, he's in this. Like he's killing it.
So
now I'm assuming he's dead now.
He was supposed to play what's the big fat detective in the
Harvey Bullock?
Harvey Bullock, but Tim Burton thought that having two Harveys would be.
I can agree with that. I can agree that was probably a smart move. But at this point, he's actually investigating the crime, the crime, and effectively the Batman breakup of crime, somewhat from earlier
syndicate stuff.
Yeah. No, he and then this is at this point, yes, right here. He essentially gets called down. He gets beckoned down an alleyway to talk to Jack Napier, and it's shown that he's being paid off and that he's kind of the inside man of the police department for their whole syndicate.
One thing I really, really love about this movie is the way they manages to blend old film style. So there's a lot of elements of film noir in it, even by the way it's just shot, the lighting. I genuinely think that if this movie was in black and white, it would be really, really good because of some of the lighting. So, man, I have to tip my hat off to Tim Burton for that, and to the cinematographer who was, I think, Roger Pratt. That's his name. I'm not too familiar with
Well, I love the Joker where Knox is asking questions about, there's rumors of the bat, and the police are doing everything in their powers to like suppress any information about this bat character. They don't want anyone to know about it. And Knox is asking questions like, oh, these guys are just a bunch of drug addicts,
drinking Drano,
drinking Drano. And then the guy's getting stretched out of the stretcher. He's like, it was a giant bat, man. It was a giant bat. Just like, yeah.
One thing I love about this scene is the double gun draw. It's the speed on the gun draws is awesome.
You better.
They also established that Jack Nicholson's character is already like a psycho. Like he's like an enforcer, who's very violent.
His sanity is hanging by a thread, and I think out of the entire movie, this is where he's like showing his age here, just with the shadows. You see like the wrinkles around his eyes and everything, and there was a legit worry that he was too old to play this role because Keaton's so much younger than him. And I think actually they did have Tim Curry, who was originally cast to voice the Joker in the animated series. And I think another one was David Bowie and John Lithgow were also, which James Woods too.
James Woods.
Golden, I think I heard you about to say something. Golden?
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I agree with Uninspired's comment that this would look good in black and white, because if you notice in a lot of Burton's movies, and there'll be many shots in this movie, as we'll see, is that Tim Burton's quite a big fan of the old Universal horror movies, which you can kind of see the inspiration with a lot of shots and the way people are positioned. So yeah, I agree.
Frankenweenie, man. Frankenweenie was like Tim Burton's love letter to old horror movies. And Frankenweenie was in black and white.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys. I think it's a remake, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, the short film was. I remember renting the short film, which was like 30 minutes long, and watching that. It was so funny and silly.
I remember renting the short film and being mad that I rented something that was a half hour long.
Right.
So Roger Pratt was a cinematographer for Troy, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Goblet of Fire as well, the 2010 Karate Kid, 12 Monkeys, and
12 Monkeys is one of those movies I kind of always forget exists, but it's really good.
Yeah. And also he did Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Brazil. Mary Shelley's
Brazil. Yeah, you can see Brazil vibes all over Gotham City here.
I like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I
love it. I did too. I really like it.
What's everybody's opinion of Bob, by the way?
Mention for Joker cast,
great.
William Dafoe.
William Dafoe. That would make sense, actually.
Well, he was too unknown at the time, but that was Burton's first choice.
Damn.
Yeah, Bob's great. He was like an IRL friend with Jack Nicholson. He campaigned to get him in the movie. And
that's cool.
It's my favorite.
I love Bob because he only has like 6 lines in the whole movie, but they're all really perfectly delivered, and
he's still got an action figure for the movie.
Yeah.
You know,
I have it.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump too far ahead, but his death is probably my favorite death.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a few minutes alone, boys.
My buddy, Italian Grandma, he's a streamer, and every time I come on his show, that's the clip that they play.
Bob Gunn. Boom. So.
See, look at this with the architecture.
To take over for a second, I'm just still laughing at
it. Yeah, man, like genuinely, I think the architecture is pretty fucking crazy. I mean, this would not work in real life.
No, I mean, look at that tall tower in the back. There is so much going on.
It looks like a two-frame building from Phineas and Ferb.
Those air ducts look like Dr. Seuss designed them or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that's actually a great way of putting it. That Dr. Seuss, it does look like, some sort of like gluggity glug and sluggity slug is going to come out.
But instead of coming out of some Seussical name thing, it's crime that comes out of those shoots.
Right.
So I actually grew up in a town that had an old brick factory, right? And it was like long since condemned and stuff. But if you go back, let me go back to one more slide.
Yeah, go ahead.
That building in the background, it looked, except for the like spire portion in the top, that like almost like pavilion looking thing. But the rest, if you just took that off and squared off the roof, that's almost exactly like what the brick factory looked like. And I used to remember I worked in a place for a while. It was like that you could see it, and I always thought it was really cool. I always kind of like looked at it and was like, yeah, it looks very Gotham City-esque. So. Yeah, it was that was always a cool little thing about like where I grew up. But yeah,
everybody is dressed to the nines in this movie, and it's just sharp.
Dude, yeah, everyone is dripped out, man.
Russia.
Dude, everyone is looking good in this movie. Well, I mean, it kind of just continues the noir aesthetic. Everyone in noir was kind of dressed this way. And the only one that really stands out is just Batman in his suit. I find it hilarious. But even Joker, I think Joker looks good. I do think that Joker's color palette for his entire wardrobe, I think is really, really fantastic. I'm so glad that they ended up choosing those specific colors for him, because I couldn't see him with anything else. Like genuinely, I couldn't see him with any.
You mean the purple with the green and all that?
Yeah, the purple and the green. Well, it's the way that they put it like in the suit, to distinct it.
There you
go. Bob Kane, right on the.
Oh yeah, I never actually noticed that his signature was there. I knew that this was drawn by him, but I never know. I always just looked at because my eyes were always drawn to the. Have you seen this man?
Same.
Yeah.
This is actually Bob Kane's actual design for Batman before Bill Finger did all the work and got no credit.
Yeah. Actually, no, it was way worse than that.
Yeah, I know.
It was like the costume was red, and he actually looked more like Robin.
Yeah, and it was weird. It's weird seeing. I mean, first of all, yeah, the screenplay and the credits. You really screenplay by Sam Hamm, which is cool. But then created by Bob Kane and Bob Kane only. It's like, I'm surprised
Well,
that they
even-
haven't like
even
digitally
today, man.
re-edited it, altered it to change the credit.
Yeah, actually the first movie to give Bill Finger credit is Batman v Superman.
Right.
Oh.
So
I just looked up that original Bob Kane design. That looks disgusting.
Oh, right.
Right.
It's awful.
There's a good comic book representation where someone just shows like that design, and they have a drawing of Bob Kane, and then they have a drawing of Bill Finger and what he brought into the mythos, and it's everything that you imagine about Batman.
Right.
But yeah, he came to this. He invited Stan Lee to come sit down next to him, so he could rub it in his face the whole time, and he wore a cape and like one of those like crazy like tuxedo capes, and yeah, he was really milking it up. And meanwhile, Bill Finger was like dying in squalor. And just to make it even worse, so he rubbed all that stuff in Stan Lee's face, and then he died a year before the Spider-Man movie came out, so Stan Lee couldn't even get him back.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, this original Batman design would not have survived more than a decade.
No, it's very bad.
This would eventually go on to be recycled for Man-Bat, who was supposed to be in the third movie, because originally before they switched to the Schumacher sub series, I guess we can call it, there was going to be a third movie after Returns, and it was going to actually feature returning Joker and or at least hit like maybe a cameo. They wanted to bring back Joker, and Man-Bat was going to be the main villain.
Is this Man-Bat?
That was going to be Batman Triumphant.
Yeah,
and they were going to get everybody back, and they thought that it was going to be too expensive to get all those back. And if they couldn't get Nicholson back, they were going to have Harley Quinn, who was going to be the daughter of Jack Napier.
Is Man-Bat the one from Arkham Knight, the random flying motherfucker?
It's a giant bat.
Yeah. Man-Bat. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think the budget would have limited them on that. Either they would have some god awful Spawn levels of CGI, or they would have had a really bad practical suit.
Nah, what they would have had to do is actually genetically modify a human being.
Oh, Vicky.
Ah, yes.
I love sexual harassment in the workplace, like right out the gate. Calling is like saying hello, legs. I'm reading your stuff. I'm reading yours. She's just so used to it, She doesn't even get phased by it. She like smiles, like, yeah, everyone thinks I'm so hot. It's crazy.
Also, he says something like, hey, if you want to do a nude photo shoot, you're going to need a real long lens. That would mean that he has a really tiny dick, right?
Yeah. I didn't. I actually wanted to say that. Yeah, I never understood that line.
And then he gets confused why she goes straight into the billionaire's arms the next day. Like, we have a date. And he's like, what? Well, you're not into me talking about my tiny phallus and having no money.
And I do love that she has the very like era specific. Those glasses were very popular around that time. Those big round frame glasses.
Shoulder pads, baby.
I like it.
Yeah,
they're making a comeback.
She looks like she belongs on some, what's it? One of those music videos with all the hot chicks dancing in the background. Who is it? Robert Palmer.
Yeah, every music video ever.
Basically,
Addicted to Love, yeah. And
I was thinking, what, because to legitimize her journalistic prowess, I would say they use Time magazine. What do you guys think that they would use today to kind of like legitimize a journalist?
Probably still Time magazine.
Kotaku would be definitely.
Yeah. they would pull up her Instagram or her Shutterfly or
right.
Her OnlyFans.
Oh my God, you've got 700 million followers on Instagram. Yeah. That's all.
Now I do like that they use Corto Maltese. That is something that goes back into the comics for sure. It's a little Easter egg there.
Isn't that where they go in the Suicide Squad?
Yes, it is. So it's kind of the equivalent. Like, so Wolverine has what's that island that he always goes to? It's not Japan.
Fire Island?
No, not Fire Island. Yeah, that's where he got the patch
saying Wolverine's gay.
It's not important. The name escapes me, but
it's gonna bother me now. So hold on, I'll look it up.
It's you fucking nerds with your OCD.
Right.
I mean, you can just keep going.
Oh, Jack Palance in this movie.
Yeah,
dude. You see, I love the suit, man. Even without the Joker stuff, he's still rocking the purple suit. I like it.
The Joker already. He's just not deformed yet, and gone crazy. But yeah, he's
still psycho though.
Got that style,
Yeah, there
and
he is.
Jack Palance is so amazing. Tim Burton said he was intimidated to work with him, and I mean, I think I watched it again last night for the first time in a while, and I laughed so hard when Joker does his Jack Palance impression later. It's so good. So if you want to talk like Jack Palance, all you gotta do is like growl all your words and take deep breaths every time you want to talk. Just like that.
It sucks because there's so many islands in Marvel. It's like there's Muir Island, there's Krakoa, and I can't remember which one specifically is the one that he goes to.
They have the.
It's called Kill Island though, but they
have the UN summit at it and in X-Men 97 recently. So
was it Muir Island? Was that it?
No, I'm just gonna look up X-Men 97.
Dude, I type in Wolverine Island on Google.
It doesn't do shit. I just found that out myself. I just started like listing off islands that I remember.
It literally gives me an island in like Vancouver with actual Wolverines.
That's what I would have guessed that. Hell yeah. It's a Canadian island full of Wolverines. Yes.
Yeah, well, there is like a storyline called Kill Island, and it's the one that we're talking about.
Madripoor,
that's it.
Madripoor, of course.
I remembered it as Kill, but they call it Kill Island. It's like,
isn't Madripoor a real place?
Probably.
No.
It is in our hearts.
Yeah, in our hearts. There you go. You guys have
Oh yeah, there's the storyline Madripoor Nights. I just remembered it now that you said it. Yeah.
That was killing me.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. For this, you guys want to know who the studios wanted and approached instead of Keaton?
Sure, go ahead.
So Mel Gibson was their top, then Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Harrison Ford, Dennis Quaid, and then Pierce Brosnan.
Ooh, Pierce Brosnan would have actually been an interesting choice.
That out of all of them,
they're all interesting.
When I was most interested, I was least interested in Kevin Costner and Tom Selleck.
Kevin Costner went like, can we make it a Western?
Yeah, I hate Kevin.
Can I do a bad English accent for half the movie? Yeah, it's funny because you read that list and Michael Keaton would still be at the bottom of the interest pile there, and yet he got the role. In fact, he's who Tim Burton wanted the whole time.
It was also
they all turned it down. That's why.
There was also probably some budgetary reasons. He was probably the cheapest one.
And Adam West was pissed that he wasn't even approached.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, we can leave this still on for the rest of the.
Yeah,
Adam West just missed all of his sex parties that he'd have with his co-star Robin. Banging all the groupies. He wanted another opportunity for that.
But yeah, so in storyline, if this is where I recall, this is where they're having the gathering at Wayne Manor, and they're trying to find out. This is one of the things that always bothered me about this movie is no one knows what Bruce Wayne looks like. He's very this version of him is much different, and that he's not like the billionaire playboy, goes out all the time in the tabloids, all that stuff. This one he's very reclusive.
Yeah, he's like the aviator.
Yeah,
what's his name?
And if your Vicky Vale it's like the Lois Lane paradox, but I think it's worse in this one. Like, it's so obvious that Batman would be Bruce Wayne. He's like a billionaire. He's super weird. Like, she sees him sleeping upside down at one point. It's like, that should have been your
that
cue
is my
right
least
there.
favorite part in the whole movie.
But yeah, one of my favorite things here. So they're having this whole, it's basically all the rich people and government officials are here. They set up a casino in his living room. I don't really understand how that happened. I've always wondered.
Why not?
I just assume he has a game room.
He just
room
for it.
He just has He just has craps tables and stuff. Yeah. So
I mean, dude, look at the size.
He even says it when
there ain't no party like a Bruce Wayne party, dude. It's like
I don't even
Playboy
know
mansion.
Been in this room before.
And I agree. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
I know.
I hardly said anything.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just because you guys have been going on about stuff that I don't know about. That's why I
You're
can't
so
really.
Canadian.
It kind of blows my mind that everyone's just like, "Who's Bruce Wayne?" And this guy is literally hosting like $1 million party at his that has everyone of importance from Gotham City at it. But
that's
still,
what I was
he's
trying
like,
to say. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
how would they not know who he is?
I think the higher ups know who he is.
Yeah, I don't think nobody knows.
if you're
Vicky Vale
asking-
doesn't know,
if
and
you're asking- yeah, she's from out of town. You know what I mean? She's
well, even so later on in the film, though, when Joker goes to Vicky's apartment, even at first glance, he doesn't recognize who it is either until she says Bruce. And then he's like, oh, Bruce Wayne. So that's what, like, nobody knows who this guy is, which I found was really odd when consistently he's propped up as being actually a very important member of Gotham society.
I mean, do you know what the richest man in your town looks like? I mean, you know.
So here's the thing: is like at the time, let's think of like who would be at the time really rich people, late 80s, early 90s.
Conrad Hilton.
What?
Ted Turner.
Ted Turner. Everybody knew what Ted Turner looked like with the big gappy teeth and all that stuff. So
Same with Conrad Hilton. We all know what all of those the Trumps. We all know what they look like.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that Bruce Wayne is a blank face.
It also, it's probably the least believable part of this movie is that that even the person who's one of the main reporters, like beat writers for the local paper, doesn't know what he looks like.
Oh,
if we can at least justify we can justify that she's been off doing war photography and maybe that, but he has no reason to not know what Bruce Wayne looks like.
But I'm saying, and if you're trying to figure out who it is, why don't you take a look at the guy who's got the fucking butler following him around? What
was it? Where did that he does steal this scene? In fact, honestly, he's really good in all the movies.
Yes, he's and
I like him.
See, I would argue. So, okay, like, what's the CEO of Starbucks look like? Or you know what I mean? So I could see he is a recluse. He doesn't stay out in the public eye. He does have a lot of stuff with the higher ups in the city. You see that more in Batman Returns. So also it's, you know, if he wants to remain out of the papers, he very well can. I really don't have that big of a problem with it.
So I think one of the reasons why I have a problem with it is because later within this continuity, it's shown that that's not how he is. So he's more well known in Returns and Forever, which is still in the same continuity, and especially in Batman and Robin, where so it and those are all supposed to relatively take place within a few years of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, Jim Carrey is stalking Bruce Wayne at that, you know, like he's got all those articles and everything about him. Yeah, I can see that, but I'm saying as like an introduction, I really don't care. You have to establish that disbelief, I guess.
So one of the things I would say is one of the reasons they do this introduction is to kind of promote the fact that he's very stealthy, not only in life, but even in this scene, he kind of they just take it upon themselves. They got the biggest balls in the world to just go walk around a billionaire's house and not worry about what's going on.
Hold on. You're saying that this is to establish that Bruce Wayne is stealthy?
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is that he as a person is able to like blend.
Oh, I think it establishes that he's just uninterested in that part of his life where he's like, you know, so he has all these people in his house and Alfred goes, very unexpectedly, sir.
Yeah, I get that more than he's stealthy because he clearly is not stealthy on several occasions. Later on in the film.
I mean, he says later that I couldn't find my socks without Alfred, you know.
Yeah. But he like sneaks up behind them here, which I love. I love that he just kind of like walks up behind them. They don't notice that he's there. He like basically shadows their movements.
Dude, yeah, it's so funny too because like Knox is like, "Oh, you're Bruce Wayne. Well, how about a grant?" And he's like, and then he gives it to him. He tells Alfred, "Hey, give Knox a grant."
That's the one callback that I wanted to have in this movie, like at the end, where it's like, you know, he's like, he gave us a signal, and then like maybe like Knox is back at his desk and like he gets a grant, but I don't think he would give a grant.
That would have been a great if they were doing post-credit scenes back then. That would
I don't think you would give a grant to the guy who's investigating your secret identity. So
that's fair enough. Yeah.
Now, as much as I love, Michael Gough as Alfred, I was
Go. I always thought it was pronounced Goff.
Goff, whatever.
I've heard both.
Go. I think
Michael.
I think it's just funny because, like, I've always thought, and they address it in Batman and Robin. It's like, dude, why is I understand he's like, you're kind of a father figure to you, kind of help raise you, but like, he's so old. Why are you making him do all this like work? You know?
Yeah,
Like,
he deserves a servant at this point.
give him a fucking retirement. Give him a servant. Exactly.
He does have a driver in this one, at least, that isn't Alfred, and then that job gets folded in later.
Yeah,
Bruce. The idea of an old man maintaining this gigantic mansion all by himself and taking care of like this man who's perfectly capable of doing his own dishes.
Yeah, it's like today is the day where I dust all of the ancient armor.
It's gonna take all day.
And even as a kid, I thought the King of the Wicker People joke was the lamest thing I've ever heard.
Well, they're definitely, that's all on purpose. He comes off as lame on purpose. And I think that's to prop up Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, not only is Michael Keaton like better looking and super rich, he's also funnier than you, Knox. That's gonna be the real blow to his self-esteem. Like Michael Keaton, like Bruce Wayne actually makes me laugh. That says Vicky Vale to him, you know. Your tired jokes are annoying.
So I get the impression that it's philanthropist, but doesn't court attention. Yeah, that makes sense. He basically uses his money for good as best he can, but doesn't really want credit for it.
He does make a point that they don't really play up the playboy angle of Bruce Wayne in this.
No, they start to do it in Returns a little bit more, but by the time they get to Forever and Batman and Robin, he's like total going out to big galas and buying artwork and so like, but that's the thing is for him to have these armors would probably require he went to public auctions. Those kind of things usually aren't like private purchases if it's like historical things.
Maybe they're gifts,
but it also shows that he's well traveled, or at least someone in his family was. So like it says a lot about him that he's knowledgeable, and they could have done more with that. But they establish it more in other movies because this is an origin film. I mean, there's been a
Sasquatch sighting in the
Hey Cannoli.
Hey Cannoli.
Sorry,
we haven't heard from Golden.
Wife.
We haven't heard from Golden in a little while. Have you had anything that we skipped over by accident, Golden?
No. I'll just pile on to the fact that Alfred in all of these movies is absolutely fantastic, and you can definitely see why Bruce, relies on him. He's always there, and again, when he's hopping around the house cleaning up after him, it's pretty cool. But the scene when he introduces himself to Vicky Vale, that's phenomenal, subtle comedy from Keaton there. I mean, it's funny how people were sort of doubtful of Keaton because of his comedy background, but he seems to really mix it well with the atmosphere of this movie. Some scenes you could say maybe it's a bit too much, but I think he does have a good balance on his part. Like, there's other parts of the story you may not think work well, but in terms of him, he seems to really blend those two aspects.
Now we're back to Jack Napier and them trying to catch him. I bet you this isn't Jack Nicholson's first, prison photo. So
I have a feeling that's an actual prison photo.
Yeah, it just feels like it does feel like a real mugshot.
Because that looks like, if you look at that like Gotham, whatever you call those, the serial number, that almost looks like that was old school photoshopped into a real picture.
I love his line too, like shoot to kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, we know what you mean. By the way, love the cops' outfits too, like the leather. It's a good look.
It's very I do love the fact that, so obviously this is they're going to be going in. Napier's been kind of made here. They're going to clean out they're going to clean out all the information from Axis Chemicals, but it's really just a setup, and the cops are called ahead, and he's going to be there, and I want him dead, basically.
Dude, this the cops' costumes and the set, it looks like it's going to be like a Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation video is going to bust out any second.
And I like even doing like a heist like this. They're all still like dressed up in like gangster suits. Like,
yeah, dude, they're all looking like mafia
turtlenecks.
They all look like they're headed to like church in Atlanta.
Yeah, look sharp. We've been ratted out here, boys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So one of my favorite things about this whole sequence, and I don't know, do you have a clip of this? Uninspired.
Until when?
Say again.
Like until when? Like
I was just all the shooting and stuff. Do you have a clip of it?
All right, yeah, sure. I have like a minute-long clip right now.
Okay, so let's just do that.
We've been ratted out here, boys. Watch it. Freeze! Nice outfit.
So you kind of you just kind of just said what I wanted to say in the chat there, is that the indiscriminate shooting and just ricocheting of bullets everywhere is insane in this sequence.
Yeah, the railings.
Those sounds.
Oh yeah.
I was going to just say, yeah, those sounds, the gunshots. There's something so satisfying about it, isn't there? They pew pew.
Yeah. My favorite. Yeah, one of my favorite gunshot sound effects is the like Terminator 1, that gunfire sound.
Oh, the shotgun. Awesome. Yeah.
And is it just me, or in movies like we saw with Jack Napier there, when a character sort of loses control and goes over an edge, sometimes it seems a bit like, would that really happen? Like, you may feel like something's in front of you and then you'd stop. Like, you wouldn't just keep on going, right, how about if I try and move over this object? It's like if you can't see, or you're unaware of your surroundings, you can't see if there's any danger there, you feel like you'd be a bit more cautious.
Yep.
Gore do what Trump did. Cover your face and drop to the ground and just like roll around.
Let me get my shoes.
Yeah, I need my shoes.
The best, in my opinion, the best line in this whole thing is anybody who shoots at Napier is gonna answer to me, and then they all just open fire on him every chance they get.
Nobody heard it. That's what's so cool is like how Commissioner Gordon just like walks into a live firefight like a boss, like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
Yeah, that is a very cool scene when he walks.
He also does his face doesn't change when he's at gunpoint either. If you look when Bob holds him, he's like, "I'll do Gordon," and he's
Commissioner. You think that's the first time someone ever held a gun to Commissioner Gordon's temple? It's probably like the 9th time.
This is upsetting to hear that they changed the gunshot.
Yeah, me and Gordon were talking about that, and it is very upsetting. I do like that exchange of power. So when the corrupt cop is talking to Napier in the alleyway, he goes, "I answer to Grissom, not to psychos." And then as soon as Gordon comes up, he takes the megaphone and he goes, "I run this crime scene, not Carl Grissom." And it was just like it establishes everything you need to know about how corrupt the police force is in Gotham
the
City.
power dynamics are here.
And for some reason, I especially love and it looks so painful when Batman shoots that guy and he's hanging. He's like, "Let me down!" And it was like, is he hanging by his clavicle or by?
I'm guessing that's the only thing that makes sense to me is that it goes through his shoulder and like pulls back in. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, because there's no way it wrapped around his neck; it would choke him off, and there's no way it's holding him from his jacket; it would just rip. So it had to be in his body.
Yeah, I was going, ooh, that is rough.
I love the back fist though.
Yes,
the one guy walking down the hall, just bang. That is probably whenever they do that in any Batman movie, that like you don't see him around the corner and then his hand comes out. Which when I was younger and I watched it in 4:3 ratio, it was better because you didn't see in the widescreen you see him, in the 4-3, you just see the hand come up. I remember that when I was a kid, and then they would pan to him.
This movie is a victim, but also sometimes it's better when you can see, like, you know, just watching it on an old tube TV on VHS and then seeing it in 4K. There's things that suffer and there's things that look better.
The 16:9 ratio sometimes ruins the magic of certain shots.
Yes,
that were specifically filmed for, because, like, obviously when you saw it in theaters, it was always 16:9, even going back as way back to like the 80s and stuff. And like but when it came home, they obviously all TVs were 4:3 ratio, so they would do the pan and scan method. And a lot of the scenes like that were filmed specifically for home release, to be cool for home release. So
yeah, but there's also things that you know, you see that you never noticed before and probably weren't meant to notice. But side note, I think this is the 35th year anniversary of this movie.
That's why it was on my short list.
And I am absolutely shocked that it didn't get like a theater re-release or
they may be doing that regionally. I think I saw some theaters in my area doing that.
Maybe it's because Spider-Man is taking up all the screens, man.
So I think it depends on what your local theaters are. So like for me, it's Cinemarks. That's the closest one to me. They have like what they call Cine Arts, and they also do the Fathom events. So Fathom events is like its own separate company that does also in AMC's and such. And they have the right
tends to be concerts and
but they also do well, there's Fathom events, and there's like Fathom like films.
We're doing Miyazaki films right now, I think.
Yeah.
Ponyo.
And then they have rights to certain ones, and then like the theaters themselves will get rights to certain older films to do the like 35th, 40th, 50th anniversaries. So I think certain ones have it in this area because I've seen some of the I've seen Batman somewhere recently.
I mean, mine does a great job of just like, I think next week they're playing The Rear Window, which I'm definitely going to go check out in theaters. But yeah, they're also doing the Studio Ghibli stuff. But I was just shocked that, you know, like I didn't see it on a more broader scale, I guess.
Sometimes it's only a one showing too. And Leonard Ghostal.
Yeah, I mean they are playing all the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, they are.
They were doing one every Monday for like, what was that, seven straight weeks, I guess it was.
Yeah, here they're only on Spider-Man 3, I think. Yeah, so they're only on Spider-Man 3 for now here. So they've got the TASM movies and the Marvel movies to get through.
I know for a fact, like my local Cinemark they're re-releasing Terminator for its I guess that's the 40th anniversary. Yeah. So I actually got tickets to that because that was before I was born. I tend to try, if it's something I didn't get a chance to see in theaters, I try to go see it if I can.
So do I. I
got the chance to see the Japanese horror movie House from 1977.
Oh, I love that movie. It's it's bonkers.
Dude, yeah. They were showing it randomly at like one of the theaters, my like art house theater. So I was like, oh man, let me go get a ticket for that. So I wanted to see it. It was great.
All right. I want to ask you guys a question. Does the Joker slip or does Bruce Wayne drop him? This has been one of the.
He slipped.
No, I saw a video breakdown of it the other day. He holds his hand. They catch eyes. His eyes get big, and he realizes who he is, and he pulls his hand away.
But he doesn't. But that doesn't make sense because he doesn't really figure that out until later.
No, he does. When he sees the Joker again, finally, because you'll see the first time he sees the Joker is at that press conference where he's dressed like a mime for some reason. He gets shot and he's walking up to the car. Limo that the Joker gets in, like all confused, and then he looks at Alfred and goes, I just found out that Jack Napier is still alive. So he was under the impression that he killed Jack Napier here.
Doesn't Batman later admit it when he says, I made you, but you made me first?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think he realizes he puts it together until he hears the devil in the pale moonlight line. That's when he goes like, what'd you say?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too.
But it could be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's seen pictures of Jack Napier before, you know, being a crime Cape Crusader.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's a mugshot of him that's going around. I mean, he's a well-known criminal. He's like second in command in Carl Grissom's crime unit or crime syndicate. I mean, he obviously knows who killed his parents.
I guess let's just take a vote. Vex, what do you think? Did he drop him or was it a slip?
I think he slipped.
Okay, I think he slipped. Obviously, Sammy thinks he dropped him. Stupenzo?
I'm gonna say he slipped.
Golden?
I'll say drops him.
Uninspired?
Yeah, slipped for me, man.
Okay, 4-2 slipped. That's what we got.
It's all right. That's fine. You can all be wrong. That's cool. I guess only Burton would know.
One thing I love about Vicky Vale / Kim Basinger, she does has the Bulma treatment where she has a different hairstyle in every single scene.
That's true.
One of my favorite things. She never has the same hairstyle in any two scenes.
Well, it kind of feels pretty real too. Like I've been married for some time. My wife doesn't do her hair the same way every single day. It's kind of like a.
So the one thing is that exchange was him still trying to kind of go out with her and all that stuff, and also use oh well, we have to do more on this paper. He's kind of playing the between. It's like I want to date you, but I also am your work partner. And she essentially tells him that she doesn't have time for either of those things because she has a date, and it happens to be with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, in this weird, seating arrangement.
To this day, this is my favorite dinner scene in any movie ever. It's just so awkward. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Which is why I'll argue that he has that casino room in his house. Where when he looks around and goes, you know what? I don't think I've ever been in this room.
Yeah.
Or that's just his line that he uses to get every girl into bed.
He says it here with this big ass table, and it totally wins her over.
I just don't understand why they chose to sit on the far ends of the lengthwise of the table instead of the widthwise of the
scoot up
table.
next to her, sit at the corner.
I think that was Alfred's doing.
I mean, Alfred just what brings them together later on, So I think that's
I think it's just he in this one. This is one of the last ones where Alfred is actually a very formally trained butler. So he would set the table accordingly, and then all of a sudden they go to the breakfast nook, which I love that they remade in the Flash. They show this room again.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he has dinner in that big room anyways, because we all know that he's not that type of guy. Alfred knows he's not that type of guy. It's a date.
This is all a formula.
Yeah, it was a pickup line. It's
all.
It's just not a very good one. That's all. Because we've kind of already established that Bruce Wayne is not the rich boy that everyone else thinks he is. That's been well established in the film already. So to have something silly like that, it doesn't make any sense.
Also, I don't think he really needs. Go ahead.
My favorite line in Returns that illustrates that fact. And every time I make potato leek soup, I always say it. I always quote it. It's it's cold. It's vichyssoise. It's supposed to be cold. And he's like, oh, okay.
That's his thing. He's like, we're going to set up the big table. I'm going to say, I've never been in this room. And then you tell that fucking horseback riding story where he was covered in mud.
So one of my favorite things is he doesn't actually. So it was he doesn't need any pickup lines. He literally just has to be billionaire. Done. That's it. That's all you need to do. It doesn't.
That's true.
And that's pretty much what happens there. But yeah, this sequence always the juxtaposition of the awkwardness of the dinner table and all that versus the wholesomeness of this scene is always stuck with me.
Yeah, but also this is a weird date too. So he takes her in the big room, and then all of a sudden Alfred's in there. That would be like having my grandpa come in and tell stories about my childhood on the first date. I don't know. I think that would give a girl the ick.
Would you like to meet my grandfather, who will tell you about my awkward first boner
Do you
story?
have any intentions on banging my grandson tonight?
Yes, Vex.
Don't do the dishes. I'll do those later.
Right. I just wanted to add in too that not only is this a weird date, but it proves that women will always sleep with you on the first date if you have a mansion and money. There you go. Because then he takes her around the mansion. He starts kissing her and touching her and shit, and she hops in the bed almost immediately.
I'm drunk.
There she is.
You're not anything.
Vex, would you crack for Michael Keaton?
No, not hold on. Okay, let me rephrase. Hold on. Okay. Michael Keaton in this era? No. Michael Keaton now? Maybe.
But yeah, Michael Keaton's one of those like awkward dudes who definitely looks better as like in his what is he in his,
like George Clooney.
60s.
Yeah,
he's gotta be in his 60s.
He looks too soft and boyish in his youth, but as he gets older, you can see the masculine features defining themselves. And
he's in his 70s now, so like, but yeah, I guess it's been, I mean, except for him being in Flash, but other than that, like when I think of him more recently, I think of his appearance in Birdman.
Oh, so I like No Way Home a lot.
Yeah, that's good too.
I think that scene of him and Tom Holland.
You mean Homecoming?
Yeah, Homecoming. Yeah, that scene of him and Tom Holland in the car before he like drops him off, and then like he opens the glove compartment. There's a gun in there. I was like, he's just killing it. I was like, I'm so glad this guy's in movies again.
Supposedly on the set of that of Homecoming, he just walked around saying, "I'm Batman" the whole time. That's like a story that I've heard.
Why wouldn't you?
I like that.
Yeah, it's like like every single time like something would happen, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I do this because I'm Batman." Like it's just every time something happened.
This is the only scene that legitimately freaked me out as a kid.
Really?
Yep. And I also felt really bad for the doctor. He's like, "You see what I have to work with here."
It's very accurate. It's very mob doctory. We have the worst tools.
Yeah.
I'm not really a good doctor, or I'd work in a hospital. And make
I'm a veterinarian.
It's true. Just a random vet like you see in all those action movies.
And this is those rusty tools he's using.
It is fun. It is a fun little touch that they actually try to justify why he has the permanent smile on with the severed nerve endings on his face.
Completely severed.
Yeah, he was great in The Founder. I really do like that movie.
I do like
Multiplicity.
As he's going up the stairs, his head hits the light, and he just leaves the guy in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, that's straight out of a horror movie. I think it's wonderful.
Hey, at least he didn't kill him, you know,
which you would expect. But he pats him on the back, like, "Yeah, you did your best,
dude."
But yeah, so
the silhouette looks very, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like cartoony. You know, I like it. I really, really do.
But Jack Palance, is it Palance or Palance? I've heard both ways.
Palance, I believe.
I've always said Palance.
Yeah. Jack Palance expects this to be Alicia, but it's not Alicia.
That's you, Sugar Bumps.
That's you, Sugar Bumps. Yeah, that's a great line. And,
no, he's thinking that was his drug dealer, Sugar Bumps. He's coming now.
And of course, it's not. And he has to pretend like he's happy to see. We're just gonna call him Joker from this point forward.
Yeah. So a couple things, because so it seems like even though the actual portrayal, like the mannerisms and whatnot, are very Joker-esque, it seems like every other backstory element, more or less, is not accurate. Would you say that's correct?
So originally there was no background for the Joker when he first debuted. He just showed up and he was just the Joker. There wasn't a reason. Later on, they added ones.
Now,
huh?
They're kind of exploring it more now than any time ever.
But I'm saying, but at the time this film came out, right? The Joker had no origin story, right? So
exactly. So they were kind of making it up as they went along.
Yeah,
the Red Hood thing had been established.
Was it? Was that?
Yeah. It was established all the way back, like in the 50s.
Okay. Yeah. So, but the chemical thing didn't happen until the Killing Joke, which was
no. That was the first thing, because he takes the helmet off. And they show that the Killing Joke explored it more.
Yeah, that was Alan Moore who did that.
Let me look up when the Red Hood came out.
But yeah, so up to this one, so they're going this route was not too bad, because, like I said, there wasn't really too much for them to work with. 51 was when the original Red Hood was. I feel like it was way later than that for some reason. But yeah, so. The exploration was something that they actually probably were allowed to have a little fun with because of that.
I'm just the transition from him being Jack, because I think he's introduced very well as like he's a upper level gangster. He's clearly got the power to not only sway the ladies but those around him, kind of deal. He's sneaky, so I enjoyed that they introduced the character that way. But after he gets into the vat and comes back as Joker, the only real connection to his old life and his new one is that, we saw him playing with a deck of cards earlier. So now it's just like all of a sudden, all of a sudden he just assumes the name Joker, and it's not really well established either. That because my assumption running on how the movie unfolds is that going into the vat, it didn't just physically alter him, but it quite literally drove him insane as well. But the movie doesn't establish that very well. It's kind of just like a switch is flipped, and he goes from being this sneaky, kind of calculated, cheeky dude to just being batshit insane.
So that's one thing. That is one problem I've always had with this movie. The lack of exploration of why he snaps, so to say, does have that issue. He doesn't, and I've never really felt like he played the two characters all that different anyway. No. It's almost just like his inhibitions are gone. That's really the only difference.
Yeah, there's enough similarity that I know it's the same person, right? And I would agree with you, but it's just like there's those little things that I can tell, this was Jack Napier, now this is the Joker. That's all.
Yeah, I felt like he was always kind of like hanging on by a thread, and even as when Bruce Wayne's going through like Jack Napier's like psychological evaluation, they show that like even since a young kid he had a problem. But yeah, there's a lot of things where like he wasn't making like little quips and saying like these crazy phrases like never rub another man's rhubarb, like when he's
right. Or have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Like that's a random one too.
Well,
right?
He did say that. He said that before he killed Bruce Wayne's parents. So that's something that he said, but that even still feels a little bit more cool and calculated, other than, you know, like Anton got a little hot under the collar. Like, you know what I mean? This is all of a sudden.
I've always said that it almost feels more like he just not as much going insane, but more of not giving a shit anymore. Right?
Yeah,
that's how I always felt with this particular version of the Joker.
If we're going down that avenue, then even just the introduction of some of his props also kind of doesn't make sense in either. Like suddenly he's got a flower that's filled with like battery acid or some shit, right? And he's popping like poisonous smoke bombs everywhere when all he wanted to do before was just kind of take for his own gain kind of deal. So the switch even there doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, it does say like he had a background in like chemistry and stuff, and that does feel very shoehorned in. I just think like he looked in the mirror and he's like, I'm just gonna run with this. Like, you know, I look like a clown all the time. I'll be a clown all the time.
I can see both those arguments, though. I can understand both.
Yeah, I can see that too, Sammy. I don't know. Yeah, I was very like I like the performance. I like how he was introduced. I'm just not very happy of how they decide to transition between the two, because it doesn't make for very good storytelling, and it also kind of like it doesn't establish him as a very what's the word like an investable villain, you know?
Okay.
Like I don't feel
like I agree with you. This is just my way of like justifying it. Like even even like 5-year-old me watching this movie go like, oh, that doesn't make a lot of sense. That's me thinking about it while I'm like playing outfield in Little League, going like, oh, that's probably why he did it. You know, like just years and years of headcanon.
Yeah, but I actually do agree with Vex that we're missing a step almost here. I mean, I guess the most justifiable thing you could say is that he's what he was doing was more of a facade as Jack Napier. That's the best way I would put it, is that it was more of a facade, and this is really who he is. But
it would have been helpful if, like, even if Jack Palance was like, hey, I want you to go to Access Chemicals and clean out, and none of that theatrical bullshit. Just go and clean it out, you know, like give him a little bit more, I guess, pizzazz, because he is so straight-laced before, and then all of a sudden he just comes out banoonies, and you know, but I guess you could say he lost his mind. I really don't know, but yeah, it's not great.
So you were saying, and so obviously this is post-coitus, if you will.
Yeah.
So. And this is what every guy does, right? We all just hang upside down.
Probably great for your back.
Oh yeah, my back would love this right about now. I probably got some more pain injections.
I would love to do this, man. I would fucking love to. This is one of those like cases where Vex. Remember when we did the TASM stream on MMM? I was defending the fact that, you know, TASM actually takes inspiration from spiders, and where, you know, he actually does spidery stuff, and it adds to the element of. This is one of those cases where I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? Do not make the human just glide, like stay downwards like a bat. I just think this is so stupid and it's
I'm
hilarious.
just wondering, of all, you have a woman that is slept over, and clearly, as like this film goes on later, you don't want anyone to know your identity. You have trouble telling her about your identity. Why the fuck would you risk revealing your identity like this? And she's a reporter on top of that. So she could go write a fluff piece being like, oh, Bruce Wayne is a weird douchebag that hangs upside down at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's just trying to get the blood back to the upper head. That's all it is.
So they do show, if you look closely, and this is a good still for it, there are weights in the background, so like you can argue that this is just part of his like morning routine. So
okay,
a lot of people,
no, don't do that. Don't do that. He's
no, a lot of
just
people
hanging
go
there.
like
There's no
sleeping.
weights.
A lot of people, yeah, there are. Look in the back.
No, he's not using it. He's just hanging there. It's weird.
Yeah, but he's doing like some weird like yoga breathing or whatever, and some
No.
Dude,
That this is just hanging around, man.
Right, he's just hanging
People say,
around.
like he's sleeping that way. I don't think he's sleeping. I just think he's doing something else. But yes, maybe wait till she leaves. You have nothing else to do. You're a billionaire. You can like put off your morning workout routine.
He got an extra workout routine banging her anyways, so you know.
That's true.
Well, maybe he pulled a Hemi.
Oh my god. And that's how you choose to untangle it.
Anyway, so I don't even remember where we are anymore.
Oh, he's looking at the thing. He's, you know,
yeah.
You're gonna get a load of me.
Yeah, this is the one.
Terrorizes.
This is why I don't do the narration, everybody. I wasn't even aware that I was supposed to be taking notes for narration purposes, actually.
Dude,
but
I always take notes.
Yeah, but the is this the same part where he where he also says, or is it later when he says, what kind of town is it that gets where?
No. That's when
later. Yeah,
that's when he's looking at the TV and he's worried that Batman's getting all of his press. Okay,
so yeah, this is the where do they get a load of me?
Yeah, and then he goes up, which I never got. I don't know what he's referencing there.
I think that was one of those moments that he just did because he's
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, and they were just like, just leave it in. He'll get mad if
probably.
Question, actually, do we know how much creative freedom Jack Nicholson had on the set of this?
Probably a lot.
I've read that he had quite a bit. Because
Okay.
he was pretty much the selling point for the entire film.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
It's kind of like the equivalent of RDJ in like Infinity War or Endgame, where because he did take he had the contract to get residuals for this movie, right?
Yes, he did.
Like so he probably had a bit of a say in what he wanted to do. And Tim Burton, this was only his third movie, right? I think so. He had done Pee-wee, Beetlejuice, and then this. Yeah, this was his third movie. So.
And then what's her face? Kim Basinger was actually supposed to be played. Her part was supposed to be played by Sean Young, and she got injured in a horseback accident. So when she heard that Catwoman was going to be in the second movie, she showed up at Tim Burton's office like dressed like Catwoman, and he had already picked Michelle Pfeiffer, so he hid under his desk until she left.
She like stalked him and stuff for that.
Yeah,
I mean, he had to get a restraining order against her, I think.
Yeah,
she kind of went crazy from. I mean, that's kind of why we stopped seeing her in movies. And then she did Ace Ventura and not much else after that.
I love this part. Honey, you'll never believe what happened to me today.
And boop, there she is on the floor.
And then he just kind of like sips his martini anyway. He's like, oh well.
This sequence is fantastic. It's obviously him trying to wrestle the power. He's already killed off Jack Palance. That's all I'm going to call him. I don't like to call him by his character name because it's Jack.
Then you got old mob boss Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, you have every stereotypical like old guy you could possibly get in one room here, and he's basically trying to tell them, well, I'm in charge now. I've taken control, and you guys can either come along or we'll quote unquote shake hands and go our separate ways. Which
dude, the first dude on the right kind of looks like John Turturro, man.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I see it. An older version of John Turturro, and right behind him is like Hans Zimmer.
So this is one of the things that I really liked about, and in The Dark Knight, they kind of sort of mimic this scene a little bit. And they update it obviously for the Nolan style, but it's the same concept of like all the mob bosses are around, kind of discussing what's going to happen, and the Joker pulls a power play.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happens here.
There's a cabal of Gotham's elite. I love. I can't imagine how annoying it had to be to have those prosthetics like keeping his mouth like that the entire movie.
Yeah, it was probably pretty irritating.
Think of the paycheck. Think of the paycheck.
So the only thing I could say is that it was probably very similar to like when you go to the dentist and they put those like wedges up, and you know how your mouth just gets really dry, even if they're not using the little vacuum thing, just from the extra airflow. It's probably he was probably thirsty all day.
Oh, for sure. And you could kind of see it in his delivery. So in Batman 66, the Burgess Meredith developed like his penguin laugh because the character was supposed to smoke and Burgess Meredith didn't smoke. So he came up with the to clear his mouth because he wasn't used to it. I was like, I feel like Nicholson does like a bunch of lip work because like his mouth is dry. Like it's just like it's a choice being made out of necessity more than it is like, oh, I think this is going to add to the character. It's just a smooth way of getting around a problem.
I see. But dude, I think that it's crazier to think that he actually looks better with the pale skin rather than, trying to emulate normal human skin. This just looks weird.
Because they put white makeup under him that's like hard to take off, and then they put like a wax like a silicone something or other on it, and then it's like crappy oil based makeup that's that comes off really easily. That's the flesh colored stuff.
So basically,
they literally
it was two levels.
He wiped it off. Yeah, and you see white underneath.
Which blew my mind as a child. I was like, how did you do the makeup on the makeup?
Dude, he looks terrifying. He really, really does. And
what's with that stupid grin? That's not what I'd say. I'd be like, what's wrong with your face?
Exactly. So I do have the
guy's gonna be in charge of our money. Like,
I do have the buzzer clip. So let me play that.
Yeah.
If we can't do business, why, we'll just shake hands. That'll be it. Oh, there'll be a hot time in the old town tonight.
Antoine got a little hot under the collar.
So it's funny because he doesn't really come off as insane in a lot of these scenes. He just comes off as weird.
Yeah,
I mean, he laughs at his own jokes a lot. Like,
he almost comes off as like dad joke version of being insane. Like, look how crazy I am. I'm a crazy man. Look at me. And it just, which I always felt had its own sort of charm to it. I don't even know how to put it in words. It feels like somebody trying to pretend to be insane is almost as funny as someone actually being good at it.
Yeah, I get your vibe, and especially like when he starts using like prop work and stuff. Like it's almost like the whole thing's like a gag. Like it was like he realizes he's kind of like stuck looking like this, so like he has no choice but to which is interesting.
As Richard Perkins here said, make him look totally off trying to look ordinary. Yeah, it actually would probably look less weird if he would have showed up with the white face. Because then they would have been like, why are you wearing makeup? Instead here it's like, why are you oily and like, I don't understand
really
what's going on.
weird and nasty.
Or put them in a poorly lit room and then have like the reveal be that the lights come on. There's other ways that you can do this. Obviously, this is what he wanted, but it is like, when you think about it, it was like, yeah, there's a million different ways they could have done this, but I don't know. I'm kind of happy they did it this way. It's insane.
So Norman here has apparently seen it in concert. I guess that means like
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Was it one of those like where the
was it actually Danny Elfman, or was it just a like an orchestra of soundtracks, like a compilation?
Also, I would like to. I was actually waiting for him to show up in the chat. I would like to. Let me get it first. We actually have created a Two Hose Discord that I am going to now put out the invitation for everybody to. Anyone who wants to join. So, since Norman was the one who kept bugging me about it the most, I waited until he showed up. How do you do this? So, invite people. Here we go. I'll throw it out into the chat.
Nice.
Wait, what's the question?
Oh, there was no question for that. It was just that now there is a Discord for Two Hose. It's
like
just
a proper
Discord. I just put the link out in the chat.
Look at you.
All right. I love how he hands her this paper and it's just like Bruce Wayne. All right.
Yeah.
It's oh yeah.
Which in itself is a simp move where he's like, she's gonna be looking for this.
There you go.
Let's go for $4.99 from Norman Burra. I told you it was coming. You just had to wait. I wanted to announce it today. Anyway, so Bruce Wayne lies to Vicky Vale and says that he's going out of town on business. It didn't work. That's weird.
Well, because Alfred blew his cover.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Man, Alfred was supposed to be the wingman, dude.
Yeah.
Takeover uninspired. Apparently that.
Yeah, sure. And so of course she follows him.
I like the idea of dropping. I said I like the idea of dropping flowers on where they die as opposed to like on their grave. It seems to be like in real life. Like it seems like something you should probably do.
Well, people do that. Like we're ever been driving and see like someone has a little mural where someone got hit by a car or something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If anybody can just confirm it whether or not besides Jack if that link worked.
Let's see.
Dude, but yeah,
we're coming.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yep. A-Link worked for me as well.
Okay, anyway. So he lied to her. He went to the alleyway, which crime alley is there's no crime during the daytime.
During the day, yeah.
Only nighttime crime. And then I forget this guy's name, but it's the basically another power play by another one of the mob bosses who's like, well, I'm in charge now. And Joker doesn't like that very much.
And Knox has the only funny joke that he has in the entire movie. Where it's like, do you guys do a couple times? You serve a couple times, serve time together as kids?
Yeah. And so of course there's the creepy mimes that are walking around, and Joker shows up as the head of the mimes, I guess we could say.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I think it just is to blend in. Yeah. But
has one of the most ingenious kills you'll ever see on screen,
which I do have the clip of.
I saw it all. He reached up with his dead hand and signed it in his own blood with this pen. Time to pay the check. The pen is truly mightier than the sword.
Yes,
I'm assuming that pen was poisoned, right?
Yeah, like smoke comes out of it too.
Okay.
Yeah, he was also in really bad shape, so I think any kind of damage would have probably just took him out anyway.
That's how I felt about Eckhart, getting shot earlier. It's like, man, that guy didn't have long to live anyway.
Yeah. Eckhart probably had about a day left.
50-year-old man being over 300 pounds, gun. That's
smoking.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about. Dude, I love it. I never realized the dude's face in the back.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good. He looks like one of those mimes from like Madagascar or something. It's really, really expressive face.
Again, actually, to Vex's point, you have to think about like this. He's like, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have, you guys are all going to dress up like mimes. I'm going to take this feathered pen and I'm gonna walk up. No one's gonna block me because they're gonna be like, "What are all these mimes doing here?" And then I'm gonna stab them in the neck. You guys will have guns, but I'm gonna stab them in the neck with this pen, and a bunch of poison smoke's gonna come out. And all right, then I'll just get back in the car and we'll drive away.
Police officers that are right in front of us will not do anything.
Yeah.
Also, there will only be like 9 reporters, and we'll make it look like it's really big, and then we'll pan the camera, and then like wait, pan the camera, and we'll pan the camera and show there's only like 12 people there total.
And even though I'm one of the most respected criminals in Gotham, no one's gonna recognize me and be like, Jack Napier dressed as a clown kills rival.
It's true. It's such a weird, convoluted plan.
This is the scene where I started, where it really comes to mind the thing that I said earlier, where it doesn't feel like there's enough extras, because I feel like this would have been a little bit bigger of a deal than it was.
Yeah, there was conservatively 8 people there.
Yeah.
Like literally half of the extras that were there were the ones that had the guns. So it's not a lot. And this is the line where he says, the one I cut in the trailer. Yeah, I mean, I do like the the boxing thing. This is the one thing that I really, really remembered from watching it when I was a kid. That was like the only thing I really remembered, because I wanted to
destroying TVs that upset him.
Yeah, TV. His TVs go through some rough times. Good thing he's a criminal and just can steal another one. Oh yeah, I like this too, where Alfred puts his finger through like the gunshot hole. I'm relieved that you're home, sir.
Yeah, he needs water. He knows that he needs water. Also, tells him to immediately just start marrying that Vicky Vale girl or whatever. Like
that girl came over that one time. He's like, "Yeah, Alfred, why don't you marry her?"
That's what I had in mind, sir.
Yeah,
I just wanted to hit it and quit it.
Not now.
That's Alfred style.
You see, Vex, he kind of looks dark and mysterious here, don't you think? This is kind of cool.
I like how it's uninspired. It's like Mission. He's like, Vex, here. Like,
nah, he still. You remember? I can't remember which awards show it was, but it was like last year, and then someone made fun of Michael. It was like a joke about him being the only Batman in the audience or something like that. And then you see the camera pan it, and he does that little that finger, come here, tell me more kind of deal, like in a threatening way.
Yeah.
And I sat there, I was like, oh Jesus, what? That's Michael Keaton?
Vex's
what are you doing to me?
Vex is like, I need a new chair.
Clean up on aisle Vex.
You guys want to hear something funny about Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas, and he had to change it because of Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
That actually happens quite often with actor names.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, so this part makes no sense to me. That he would just all of a sudden just latch on to Vicky Vale like this. Like he didn't appear to have any type of lovesick puppy dog part about him, or like the girl that he's already dating looks very similar. To Kim Basinger.
Well, the other one is a little bit older, and I think that's his issue with.
Oh, he's got a DiCaprio thing going on.
Yeah, he's got the whole DiCaprio thing. Also, she ends up being like a failed experiment with his makeup and stuff. So.
And I won't take credit for this. Gord King is the one who pointed this out last time we watched this together, because we watched the 4K. You notice it's not just Alicia; it's all of his men are, as the movie progresses, are cut up and scarred up in some way. So he's experimenting on all of them.
I never noticed.
I didn't either. When he pointed it out, it blew my mind.
It's kind of weird. But
so this is where the movie starts to take a really kind of weird turn. This is when the chemistry aspect of the character comes out, and he's created chemical compounds that essentially kill people and make them into permanently smiling corpses.
The weird thing is that everything that he does this to, though, are for products that women would use.
Yep.
So is Jack Napier like a extreme misogynist? He just wants to kill women? And if that's the case, that's pretty fucking based. I don't know. I'm kind of
Yeah,
rooting
he
for him
wants,
more
he
than
wants
them.
women to stop dolling themselves up like whores.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be more towards women. But yeah, it's all so he has access to that chemical plant. So the only thing he could probably manipulate would be like consumer products. So you find out later in the film that it's a mixture of things. So it's like he's like hairspray won't do it alone, but if you use hairspray and mouthwash, so it's a wide array of things that he's targeting. But yes, it's mostly things that women would use much more than men.
Well, it's also ingenious because they don't actually cause it's almost impossible to actually sense that it's there until it's combined with something else. So it would actually be a really insanely, stealthy kill.
It feels like a Joker thing to do for sure. But this is the rictus grin. I usually in the comics they don't like turn into Joker faces. It's just like a crazy smile. That
they can't stop smiling and laughing, and then they essentially die.
The fact that they have the same Joker grin is strange because obviously he got his from failed surgery veterinarian guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird. The severed nerve endings from being shot in the face.
Or maybe they're implying that the chemicals did it and the doctor, he couldn't do anything to reverse it because of the tools he had.
Yeah, but even then, I think that's trumped by the fact that they imply that he's a bit crazy before the fact. So maybe like these are just regular people that do it. So
yeah, and also this concoction seems to kill them when it just turned him into a...
Well, he specifically... He's doing it differently. The one he fell into was random. It was just random chemicals. These ones are modified in a specific way to do these things.
Okay.
Yeah, I can accept that. Well,
I mean, look at Vex's icon. Obviously, she survived. What's it like?
Vex is like, my face, it's white.
It's what I always wanted.
Well, I can tell you that my credit score definitely went up.
Of course, I do have a clip. So, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our sponsor, the Joker.
Love that Joker.
Uh-oh. You don't look happy. He's been using brand X. Joker brand. I get a grin. Again. That luscious tan. Those ruby lips and hair color. So natural. Only your Undertaker knows for sure. Where can I get these fine new items? Well, that's the gang. Chances are you bought them already.
I love how he's channeling his inner singing in the rain, man. Those ruby lips.
And I love it how they don't try and kind of convince the audience that what is being shown on the TV is actually real in terms of the production behind it. They kind of lean into the whole, well, here's a cardboard cutout and here is a background which, should be convincing you that the Joker's here, but actually it's not. It's, it's kind of paying respect to that kind of, sort of television and marketing.
Man,
he does. They use his showing up on screen like that multiple times, and each time it's a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yes,
this one was good, but I think the best one is a little bit later when they're the press conference. That's the one I think is the best.
Yes, I agree.
But the one thing, first of all, anytime that there's a advertisement for a fake product, I'm all about that. But yeah, I've always loved that line that they do. The love that Joker. I don't know what it is about that specific line.
That Joker.
Yeah, the way they do it is it's creepy and funny at the same time.
Man, he did kill 13 people. Well, yeah, 13 people for now.
Yeah, you would assume it would be way more.
100%. I would have said maybe at least like 100 to 200, depending on how big Gotham is, and of course how widespread the mixes are for what he's doing, because it is cosmetic products. So people.
We established there's only 30 people who live in the city, so
he actually has killed more than half the population of Gotham.
So it's 13 is and this is a touch that I did like is that once they found out that it's in consumer products, they're all de-makeuped and
though there is a line where eventually they do say, and it's them who like report it, that they're bussing in products from other places, but they're still not made up, even though the products are being bussed in.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this reminds me of like when you know, I mean, newscasters used to be, you know, reporters and stuff. And then once we switched to HD, we had to fire all the ugly old people and replace them all with models, you know, with great skin. Because like when you see, you know, Walter Cronkite in HD with his makeup and his terrible face, it's like, oh my God, people don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Dude, they give him like the presidency status, man. When I saw this, I was like, is he actually the president or is he just the mayor, man? I don't know.
He's not even the mayor. He's the district attorney.
Exactly.
So,
like, what the fuck?
The mayor is the guy who's later in the press conference.
I mean, based on the crime levels of this town, he's doing a terrible, terrible job. You know,
the mayor's yelling at him right now. The mayor's going like, people are going to this parade. I don't care if I have to get a gun myself, and
I have to hold him at shotgun point.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm taking care of it. But yeah, this office is insane.
I always found it weird. By the way, go back one that there's drawers on the front of the desk.
Yeah,
I've never understood that. I always been like, why would there be drawers on the front of the desk? Like, what situation arises where you tell, hey, pull up a chair and open the drawer?
Yeah. That's true.
There's a lot going on there.
Just leave your bribe money in the drawer to the top left. I'll get it later.
That could be that could actually be 100% the reason.
Doesn't
why.
actually exchange hands.
Yeah, just puts it in the drawer. It's like, yeah.
You know, a guy this rich in this kind of a fucked up town is totally corrupt. You know, it's like, you know, why do these career politicians make millions and millions of dollars somehow? How does that make sense?
Especially in Gotham.
Oh yeah, that's what happened to Alicia.
And he's gonna go make some art, darling.
Yeah, this is the what did they call this thing? It's a play on the Guggenheim. I forget the specific name that they have.
I'm surprised that it wasn't called the Gothamheim. Like that's what they do later in the movies. Everything is like the Rift Gotham, the this Gotham, the Gotham this. It's like they put Gotham in everything, and here they just give it a different. Yeah, I think it looks like it says Flugenheim.
It does. I love that too because I immediately thought of you guys seen Eurotrip before?
Yeah, yeah.
The Flugenheim.
I never realized Harriet the Spy was so hot. What the hell? Until that movie.
Michelle Trachtenberg.
Hey, that's her name.
Okay. Well, let's just hold that thought. We actually have to lose Vex. She has I'm assuming other commitments. I have a feeling I know which one. But
no, I don't have other commitments. I just have a video to edit and I spread myself really fucking thin over the next 24 hours. So
yeah, because you hate editing.
Shouldn't have did that.
Exactly. I hate editing. Well, I didn't plan on reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine. I really didn't. And I was like, this movie is so garbage. I have to review it now.
I had fun. I just wanted to see Wolverine wear his mask. Got it.
Yeah, well, I guess we don't have to do the plug your shit segment.
Yeah, dude. You gotta plug your shit, my man. Tell the people where you're gonna be.
She already
what
did
you're gonna do. No. She gotta do it in better detail, of course.
Oh, officially. Okay. Well, thank you first of all for having me on. It's a pleasure to finally be on here and talk. Even though I don't care for Batman '89, it's nice to listen and converse just with people that want to talk movies, not garbage.
Yeah, she needs to stream with Uninspired again. I get you, Vex. I get you.
That too. Shh, I didn't want to be biased.
Yeah, I don't like this movie either, Vex.
But yeah, I will. I have a Deadpool and Wolverine video I'm trying to get out for tomorrow. Other than that, I will be on 4 streams over the next day and a half.
Damn.
So just follow. Yeah, I'm going to be on MVP tonight at 9. Then tomorrow it's Leon's birthday.
Yep, I'll be on that
then
too.
There's Toxic Femininity over on Midnight's Edge. And then there's MMM. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And everybody gives me shit.
Well, I kept canceling streams this last month because I was so busy with work and I ended up meeting the deadline earlier than originally planned. And then I just started saying yes to everyone, and then I was like, oh, shit, that's happening now.
Do it to yourself, you do.
Did
And
it to
that's what
myself.
really hurts.
It is what it is. But yeah, no, I'd love to come back some other time, hopefully to talk about a movie that I
think we
downright
have you
love.
booked. I have you booked for later this year, so I just don't remember what it's for off the top of my head. But I do know you're on the schedule again.
All right then. Okay, cheers, guys.
Rex,
Have a great
care,
rest
fam.
of the day.
See you.
Bye.
And now we've lost all the femininity.
Girls
now we
gone.
just talk about how hot Kim Basinger is
Yeah.
for the rest of the stream.
Remember her in The Getaway? That was awesome. She got naked in that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's been naked a few times.
Oh wait, RTNZ for $5 New Zealand
Hey,
dollars.
I missed that in the whole process.
Thank you, RTNZ. So saw this when it came out in '89, loved it and still do. A little surprised even then by the kill count, especially Batman's, but it's still great. Yep, like Dead Meat could probably make an entire Batman '89 kill counts video because
he kills way more people in Returns. But yeah,
My favorite in Returns is when he slaps the dynamite stick on the guy and just laughs at him.
when he burns that dude to death with his Batmobile.
Yeah.
Oh, that too. Yeah, there's a bunch. It's not as I guess it's campy.
Oh my not exactly a kill, but I love it when he grabs Catwoman, pushes her to the floor, and he goes, "Eat floor."
There's a couple lines in Batman Returns where Keaton's Batman fully comes to fruition to me. Like there's one part where Christopher Walken's like, "You're not just saving me, you're saving the city," and he looks at him and goes, "Shut up, you're going to jail." And I was like, there we go, that's Batman. He finally figured out the character that's 100% Batman.
Dark Hour. You know you got to narrate, right?
I'm sorry. I got distracted. So they are in the museum, and Joker and his goons break in and start messing the place up. And that's when he sees Vicky Vale. He brings in Alicia to show that she's been experimented on. That's the best way I could put it.
Well, he tricked her into going.
Yeah. And he did trick her into going because she thinks she's going to meet Bruce Wayne. And then he tries to kill her with his flower, and she instinctively grabs water, which is apparently the way she's going to defend herself, by throwing water on him, which takes off his makeup.
They're kind of things, M. Night Shyamalan got his inspiration from signs out of this, They hate water, ladies and gentlemen.
I like how he plays it off too. He's like, "I'm melting," and then So here's one thing I've always found funny about Batman movies is nobody ever gets damaged by the glass that's falling.
You saw The Wire? You saw The Wire?
Of course.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. And also, he could have just killed him right here, but instead he has to do the zip line, which it looks awesome, but he has no qualms with killing this guy.
Yeah. And then we get the Batmobile.
Of the live action Batmobiles, this one's the best one in my opinion. I
Tim
this one
Burton-
live. Go ahead.
Tim Burton saw the first the full scale replica of it, and his first reaction was like, "That's great. Where's the door?" And they were like, "Oh, we didn't think of that." So then that's why they had to make it like the cockpit door on the roof.
Oh my god! It's because they actually forgot the door.
Yeah, but it's awesome because it actually makes it better because the cockpit style entrance is awesome. It's iconic.
Mhm. Dude,
Man, I remember, and it's something that's gotten less and less cool because we actually have that technology now. But when he's controlling the Batmobile, stop.
Still, why do you gotta stand right in front of it? That just seems like
imagine
if it just took him on the ground and didn't really kill him, but still it would be embarrassing, he's trying to look cool here.
That's true. Rule of cool, man. Yep. Yeah, this is where they I think they shoot him twice or something.
Yeah, they shoot him, and then they mention that he has body armor on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's goes to take pictures, right there, which distracts them long enough for him to get up, which means he was just waiting for some weird reason that I can't figure out to this day.
Do you think they just unload in his face right then and there?
Oh, in his Indiana Jones moment.
He has two of them. This is the first of two Indiana Jones moments.
I actually thought that he was gonna.
If you go back, you can see he's all scarred up. If you look at his face.
Yeah.
Well, can we rewind? I don't even know if we can rewind.
He does that. He started up like practicing his sword stuff, you know, in his house by himself. You know, that's how it happened. But
the shield effect is so awesome.
Yeah, I think the thing about this Batman is he doesn't really do a lot of like fighting. He's more like a juggernaut, where he just kind of takes damage and then does like one.
That was mostly because the suit was hard to move in.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest reason. It's because of lack of movement, and boom, the best Batmobile.
Batman couldn't hear. Yeah, Michael Keaton couldn't hear anything when he was wearing that rubber suit. Also,
yeah, he was.
He said he was really claustrophobic.
Oh wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
The music here is just like the it's just,
that's something that I wish the other Batman movies had, especially Returns, is they don't use the love theme that Danny Elfman did for this movie, and he plays it a lot. But it's like, it's so nice, it's sweet.
I also like that the Batmobile is designed to have a bright light just in case someone's looking at his cowl too closely.
Yes, yeah. This Batcave was always. I always loved this Batcave so much growing up.
But you know, maybe a railing.
Yeah,
perhaps some OSHA like stuff.
You're like wondering where Alfred is for like several hours, and you realize he's fallen down that pit and he's dead. It takes you like days to figure it out and find his body.
No. See, the issue is that if you added railing, that's how they would fall over. It's when you don't.
Right.
Add
Exactly. You have no railing, they can't.
Yeah, he'd be like, Vicky, wait, and
So I'm a bit on the fence about this because this one's very iconic, but I think that the updates that they do later for the Schumacher version, it's still very similar, but the things that they add, like the rotating pedestal that brings the Batmobile up, adds a lot of character to it. And this is very bare bones. It's just like a computer on a
really bare bones, dude.
I think that I prefer the later versions. But it's still the same set for the most part style.
Well, I suppose it makes sense for Batman where he is right now, because he's very much head in the game, not really thinking about anything else and how, you know, he should tailor it to him. Whereas later on, when he's a bit more comfortable in the role and he's got that balance down, then he has a bit more time to sort of, you know, flush out on everything to make it feel homely, I suppose.
There's another part in this, and I think Gord brought it up when we were talking about it, but so there's all these bats. You look at the ceiling, and then he looks at Vicky Vale and goes, "There's great survivors." And then there's this one bat in a cage, and it's like, what makes this bat so special that you have all these other wild bats that are just like living naturally, and just like, I'm gonna put this one in a cage and just leave it there,
just to make it look cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's the bad bat. He's in trouble.
Yeah,
you know?
he's in timeout.
Yeah.
So
you weigh a little bit more than 108.
Yes, I was going to mention that. I always found it weird that she says about 108, I think. Like, that is a very highly specific number, lady. That is not a 110, 115. Like,
yeah, $120.
Yeah, $120. Like, 108 is like, I weighed myself with no clothes on before I ate breakfast, exactly weight on a gram scale. It always...
And also, why in this situation are you going to lie to Batman?
Yeah. She's also very casual about the so she obviously doesn't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne. But she's very casual about the fact that he would have had to sexually assault her to get the film, because she like reaches like right here and goes, "Oh, it's missing."
Oh, that would be great is if she goes, "Oh, he took the film," and then her hand goes down and you don't see her. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And he shaved me.
Batman cracks Joker's poison code. Citizens told to avoid the following products: deodorants with baby powder, hairspray and odor eaters, lipstick and nail polish, aftershave, and talcum powder.
So it's a combination of the products that poisons you, you know? So that's why that's why the Gotham PD had such a hard time locating the poison products. Mm-hmm. They're all tainted, but when they work together with each other, then yes, you'll be Smilexed.
I do really love here too. So obviously Bruce Wayne comes to talk to what?
I said you become an otter.
Bruce Wayne comes to talk to Vicky Vale, and he's trying really hard to explain that he's Batman. The first thing he says is great though. It's a nice apartment. It's a lot of space. I love that because it gets said again very shortly. But this does not go the way he had hoped. He can't quite get the words out, and then Joker shows up and says the exact same thing.
He also says something where like he's going through like the 9 to 5, what he assumes like a normal, not billionaire superhero. Yeah.
Like you know how normal people like wake up, they eat breakfast, they kiss like a loved one, they go to a job. I think. Now, this is the scene that everybody always remembers from this movie. When Bruce Wayne, first of all, it wasn't shown, but he grabs some sort of
it's like a
serving tray.
Yeah,
it's like a serving tray, and he's the old school bulletproof vest styles it,
which I argue would not stop the bullet.
Well, no. it was a very low caliber gun, though. That's true. It was it wasn't his like full size like 38. It was essentially like a Derringer. So maybe.
Yeah, but he is like maybe 8 feet away.
Yeah, the thing is like he's basically point blank range at this point. That's my
only reason why I could say it's possible is because of the size, like the caliber and size of gun.
I do like that they show that it just hits this thing. Like
but and of course everybody knows the line. You know, you want to get who wants to do it because I'm sure someone can do it better than me.
But no, I like the whole thing. He goes like, you know, he hurt people, and Joker's like, I like him already.
No, but I meant the specific line that he says when he's that I'm not gonna be able to put enough emphasis into it. I want somebody.
His lights put out.
Yeah,
you want to get nuts? Come on.
Yeah, you want to get nuts line. You want to get nuts?
It's
get
the
nuts.
come on.
I can't do it.
He goes, come on.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm too medicated. Sorry. I didn't want to butcher it by that. And then of course the package that they brought has just dead flowers with inside of it, which for some reason is just too much for Vicky Vale after watching all the other stuff that went down.
It's the most Burton-y thing in the film.
Yeah, it is very very Burton-y. But yeah, so then we get back to the
this
newspaper.
Is Vicky Vale. Yeah,
Vicky Vale. Well,
and my least favorite line, she goes, "It's the same face he had in the alley that day." He was like, "Bitch, he wasn't even facing you. You were behind him."
Yeah, it's so weird, but
I mean, technically, yes, it is the same face. He didn't replace his face.
It's his face. Yeah. And then I do have a funny story about this quote. So I had the whole Batman set when I was a kid. My grandpa just like went balls out and bought me the whole thing. And I was downstairs and I was like quoting a movie. I was quoting this part. I had Alfred talking to Bruce Wayne. He was like, "I have no desire to spend my remaining years grieving over the loss of old friends or their sons." And my dad came downstairs. He's like, "What the hell are you doing down here?" And I was like, just like quoting a movie. Or he's like, you got a Sega, you have a basketball net, like go do something. Little weirdo.
So one thing I find weird though is how would nobody know this? Like how would it be? It was clearly front page news that about give or take 15 years ago. His family was murdered in Crime Alley, which was named after they died. How would somebody working for the newspaper not know that?
Yeah, the richest family in Gotham, like that would be like a point where everyone. So like I live in Detroit. Like a lot of times when people say they'll call it either like the hot summer or whatever, but they're referring to the riots. Like that's just a point in time when you say it, everybody knows what.
Well, it's like I would draw a comparison to like the Lindbergh baby.
Yeah,
like it was or something like that. Like that would be something that would be similar. Like everybody, you don't need to even be. That happened long before I was born. I know about the Lindbergh baby.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like a benchmark in time for Gotham. They would be like, oh, that would be around the time of the Wayne killings.
Yeah, it's very much, and that was one of the things about this movie that always bothered me. It's like you might not know what Bruce Wayne looks like. Maybe he keeps to himself, but you know the history of the Wayne family.
Yeah, you know about the Waynes for sure.
which again, it is fine because Vicky Vale is out of town, but Knox should know.
Yeah, Knox makes no sense in this movie. I almost feel like the movie would actually be better without Knox.
I've argued that a million times, where it was just like he's comic relief that isn't funny. He does a terrible job at reporting, so it would have been better if like Knox like broke the scoop about the chemicals and all that. You know what I mean? He offers no aspect in which he is good at his job or he forwards the story. He does nothing but take away.
So I would like to see if maybe if they would have folded the two characters together, she would have been a new reporter in town that had, been hired away from Time Magazine or whatever, wherever she was last.
Or the Daily Planet. That would have been great.
The Daily Planet. That would have been a great little in reference.
Yeah.
But
some little redheaded bitch took my job.
Yeah. And they could do something like that. And I've never liked Knox as a character. I always felt every time he's on screen, it's my least favorite moments in this
which
show.
I don't dislike Robert Worrell. I like him in Arliss. It's just he's not right for this movie.
Sometimes there's just one too many characters in a thing, and that's what this is.
Yeah, it's really, really, really weird because it's just this kind of useless character, man. Like, genuinely, what does he do except for the fact that it's because of him that Vicky and Bruce meet at the beginning of the film? Like,
yeah,
that's pretty much it.
And I guess I was shocked he didn't get a call back.
But actually, it's her that gets it because he doesn't even have the tickets to the gala that they're doing. She has them. So he's kind of a pariah.
They're annoyed. Like Harvey Dent's like, we got more important things than worry about ghosts and goblins. And
that's a great line.
Yeah, but no, but he the actor himself was shocked that he didn't get a call back for Batman Returns, and was like, "What? Did you watch the film that you were in?" Yeah. I would be kind of like, ugh.
I wouldn't. It almost would have been better if he was from like a rival magazine or newspaper and was just bad at it. She was the good one that was better at it. Or they even worked within the same one. They were both trying to break the same story. And go ahead, Golden.
I was going to say Knox kind of feels like an early draft version of Vicky in the sense that, okay, we've got a reporter, this, but then they added all the stuff for Vicky, and it's like, okay, so relationship with Bruce Wayne, this, and then kind of forgot about Knox, and it's kind of like, well, there's a lot of similarities, but she's a bit more developed and is a lot more crucial. So yeah, he kind of feels like an extra piece that could just be cut off and swept away.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it kind of feels like a first draft of a character that they just use but don't really know what to do with, and it just seems as if they ended up signing him on before finishing the final draft of the film, and they were just like, oh man, we still need to keep him in the movie. It's so weird. I don't know. I don't think his character does anything at all, and you only see him for what I'd say a combined
probably about 10 minutes.
Dude, I would even say 3 minutes, dude.
I would only say 10 minutes because he's in a big chunk of the beginning of the movie. But
they're tiny scenes. That's the thing.
I mean, I'm sure that there's a website that I can pull up that will tell you exactly how long. I'm gonna double check that actually. But here's a fantastic scene. This is, this is the one where the press conference, right? That's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I especially like when he pushes the mayor.
Yes.
Over that. I was like, can you even do that?
One of my favorite things about this scene is that. So technically, there's no reason why they should be turning to his monitor.
Yes, and there's no reason that he could push. It's like in Batman Returns where Batman starts like scribbling on the CD, like that would like that's how that works.
It's this is a super meta sequence where so he pops up on a screen that's next to the screen and reacts to it, and then like you said, he pushes it away later. And it's him saying that he's going to bring $20 million cash to the the 200-year festival and drop it out there for everybody. And they'll have to decide whether or not he's the problem or Batman. Which $20 million cash, by the way, would be like about $55 million now. I looked it up.
First multi-monitor gamer, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
And then of course we have the obligatory flashback to the death of the Waynes.
Yep, which they casted a guy for young Jack Napier who paint that dude up. He just looks like the Joker.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you. Look at his face, dude.
Yeah, that guy is.
Yeah, that looks creepy.
Yeah, he's a creepy looking motherfucker.
Man, just put like some paint on there. Give him a nice weird laugh, and that's.
I always hate when they do this in movies too. It was like because like Jack Nicholson has been making movies for a long time. We know what young Jack Nicholson looks like. Like it's I understand what they're doing, but they always tend to take me out of the movie because I was like, he didn't look like that.
Would you prefer okay, so let's say if they made this today, would you prefer a de-age, like CG de-aging, or would you prefer
you could just found a guy who looked a little bit more like Jack Nicholson, I guess.
Yeah. I see what you mean, yeah. I guess they took this dude because he kind of just had that smile
they probably would have been better served actually just leaving him in the shadows in the smoke.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, this was always confusing to my child brain as a young boy. I was like, "Who's that guy?"
You could have even shaded over the rest of his face and kept his smile because the smile is fine.
Sure, you could have just had him have like a small silhouette, and those
or put a fedora on him and have it cast the shadow over his eyes and face.
There you go.
Because the only thing you need is the line that he says to know that
Bob
it's him.
looks totally different too. That's not the same Bob. It's a different guy.
I think a suitable answer is that the stress of being a mob boss really got to him in his later years.
Ages you greatly, yeah.
And I don't remember all of a sudden. But,
Alfred let her into the Batcave.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Alfred lets her into the Batcave, and he is wearing a incredibly tight pair of jeans. I always remembered that.
Yes.
He was wearing like skinny jeans before they were in fashion.
And a tactical turtleneck.
And there's not many lines here. It's just kind of a silent
I gotta go to work.
Yeah, I gotta go to work.
And this outfit is actually what the action figure is wearing for like the Bruce Wayne action figure. He has the tactical turtleneck on and
the tactical turtleneck.
Yeah. So I do have a question here. It's probably the best image. So bat symbol. Do you guys like this one or because they change it a little bit for returns. They kind of streamline it a little bit more, make it a little bit more rounded off.
This new one has this unnecessary little tail or something at the bottom of it. It's a little point. I'm not a fan of that.
I prefer the one from returns.
Yeah. This bottom center point needs to just be one thing, not this little trident.
Something about that as well. So with the symbol, it's the symbol, from the movie is the one you would expect to be on the insignia. The only reason they had that is because they had nothing to copyright. So for however long in the comics, it was always just the black bat.
Yeah.
And they remade this, but they didn't have the design in time. They knew that the symbol was going to be yellow. So some guy just kind of designed that and they didn't have time to change it up and match what they used for the for the poster and what we would recognize as like the official Batman symbol. So they changed it for returns because they had already
matched it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this, like obviously they made the suit a little bit more streamlined as well in returns. You can tell that they were kind of up against it with some of the items for this, but they do introduce, this is when he decides he's going to take the bat plane out, which is, I love the design for the bat plane in this one.
Yes, the Batwing looks amazing.
Batwing.
This shot is great. And that one shot where even though it's like, oh, never mind, it's farther. This is when he raids the chemical. This is what they.
Sorry, I'm out of order. Is the chemical raid?
For some reason, even though the sequence is entirely sweet, I always forget about it just because it is so quick.
It's really quick.
And then he kills conservatively 25 people in the scene.
Just dropping the ball, everything explodes. I wasn't expecting this huge explosion when he dropped the ball. I was like, "Oh my god!"
By the way, when we were commenting on the cityscape, that's the building that we saw in the background.
But yeah, then he takes the Batwing out. I'm sorry.
And then he does that sweet thing where he blocks out the moon. Did he have to do it? No, but does it look sweet? And that looks cool too, where the spotlight from the helicopter.
Yeah, dude.
That looks like a very promotional promotional section, like a promotional photo would probably be that.
I'm positive that because they had like trading cards that I had, that was one of them.
This shot?
Yeah,
they had
love stills of the movie.
I do also love, I didn't mention it earlier, but during the chase, but that all the Joker's vehicles are also themed.
Color coded.
Color coded.
Just begging for the action figures to be released.
Yeah. But yeah, so then we get to sorry, I completely forgot about that scene.
No,
but we get to the parade, which is the concerning fact. Go back one, Tar. Concerning fact, he promised $20 million. There's not a lot of people there.
That's true.
Like you'd think a lot more people would show up if $20 million was being dropped.
I guess people are scared of him still after the cosmetic stuff because he did kill people, you know?
Yeah, maybe they're reluctant, but from what we've seen, there's only 50 people who live in Gotham, so you know.
Yeah. But so he starts doing that, but the whole thing is just a ruse, so that way he can gas people with Smilex.
and one of my favorite parts too is there's a part when Vicky and Knox notice that it's gonna kill everybody, and it sounds Kim Basinger has a line, it sounds like she said it wrong on set and they had to ADR over it, but they couldn't get Kim Basinger, so they just got like some black lady and she's like, he's gonna kill everybody.
There it is, the Batwing, dude.
It's such a great design.
Batwing, the bat plane.
Like, I genuinely think that the designs for everything, the automobiles that he uses in this movie are some of the best. Well, I genuinely think that they're the best Batman like automobile vehicle designs because they have so much character in them. You know, just the design itself, it just speaks volumes. And plus, it's not just a design where it's like, all right, it looks cool, but no, practical, it's like it looks cool, but it is practical. Yeah, exactly. It's like it works. Compare that to
his car is very low to the ground, which would mean it would have a lot of the Batmobile is very low to the ground, which it would have good,
it wouldn't flip.
Yeah, it wouldn't flip. It's streamlined, so it'll be fast as hell. The plane, the Batwing, whatever you want to call it. Very much it has all that he needs there, and it's extremely like stealthy,
aerodynamic,
it's stealthy.
Yep, even that boat in the next one.
The boat, and then they redo the Batwing in Forever, and it's very similar, but they just kind of update the general look of it.
Yeah, it looks a little bit better. It looks a little bit more plated.
A little bit more armored, which actually would make sense. He would probably armor it more based on what happens.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, one bullet from a handgun.
One bullet from a handgun that's 7 feet long was enough to do this." You know,
which I was going to say, it still appears that there's just regular handgun bullets, like in this revolver. Like, would an extended barrel do anything?
I don't think so. I don't think that. I think the barreling would only make it more accurate. I don't think it would add.
Yeah,
power.
that's. Well, okay. Well, maybe he just knew the precise spot. See, I'm headcanoning again.
Like the longer a barrel, generally the more accurate a gun is, but it doesn't add power. It does. I don't know, but but he takes out the Batwing and he uses it to essentially gather up the balloons and get the fuck out of there. Spreading the gas that is only on this one block.
When he decided to make visible again.
You could argue that that's for the audience. You know?
Okay.
I love that Knox goes and he gets like an N95 mask.
Yeah.
And a baseball bat just starts swinging it randomly.
He karate chops his trunk open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because his car's a piece of shit. Also it was a deleted scene that all these Joker money was gonna be fake. It's all counterfeit. It's all got Joker's face on them, which is I thought would have added a lot more to it.
And it makes sense because he isn't going to do that.
But I do love the line, and I don't know if we have a clip for it, but the "my balloons" line. Those are my balloons.
Yeah. Why didn't anybody tell me he had one of those? Things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how long has he been Batman in this movie? He's got a. It's like he's had this Batwing for like 8 months. He's like, dude, I've just been waiting for an excuse to use this thing. Dude. You know how much it costs just to maintain this thing in my garage?
Every single night before he goes out, he just looks at it like wistfully, like someday.
One day. Yeah. Alfred, I need you to give the jet an oil change again. It's just been sitting there. It's like, oh,
yeah, just
very
start it up,
Master Wayne.
leave the engine running for a little bit.
But it's funny because he takes the gas. So everyone like runs from the gas, and he takes the balloons. And then if you look, all the people flock right back to the float and start grabbing the money again.
Yeah.
They're just like, ah.
Another thing too, he also had the forethought to like, maybe I should put like a giant pair of scissors on the front of my bat-shaped plane.
That's true. Yeah, so it just like cuts all the wires. He leaves them up in the sky, which hopefully don't just go in the atmosphere and pop and rain back down on them.
And here's the
it's so good.
Does he need to do it? No.
Nice. Are we glad he did it? Hell yeah.
Absolutely. You know that you can 100% tell that was for the trailer. That was filmed for the trailer.
Mm.
Come on,
there it is.
Nothing wrong with that.
Dude, I love the aiming system. It's just so cool.
Now, I like to put this in right up with when the Joker is standing in Batman's in the Dark Knight when Batman's on the motorcycle and he's going, "Hit me." It's just like it's like a parallel to that.
Boom. Dude, it's crazy. You have this like super expensive stealth bomber and it gets KO'd with like one shot from a enormous ass
from this overcompensation handgun.
Yeah, dude, look at that. It's incredibly long, man. It's probably like a meter at least.
I got.
You mean a yard?
To church on time.
Yeah, a yard. Yeah, baby.
Yard.
Yeah.
It's definitely a yard. I don't know about meters.
And
I
then
don't know
there
what
it
you're
is.
talking about.
Of course,
Weird European systems. But yeah, so like they get to the church and he has a great line. I love the line of "Meet me at the top in 5 minutes."
Better make it 10.
Better make it 10.
And it comes in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, so this is another thing I like. So they get to the top, the Joker sprays his acid on the bell. The bell falls. Commissioner Gordon, being a man who's maybe like 72 years old, pushes on this bell once and goes, "Nah, it's not going to move." And it's like, maybe you let 2 or 3 of the younger guys try before you rule it out completely. I know it's a lost cause, but
Also, it's a little weird that there's 2 bells in this bell tower.
Yes.
There's like, I don't know if there's one, there's like the backup bell, the spare bell.
Well, actually, I don't know. In certain belfries on like older churches, they would play like a kind of a melody. So, you would need more than one bell. It's not like it could change tuning. But another thing, too, is Batman walks up all those goddamn stairs. He has a grappling gun in this movie.
Yeah, the grappling gun.
Yeah. Even if you have to use it twice, it'd probably save you a little bit of time and
anybody
energy.
who's played Arkham City knows that you never climb the damn building. You just
exactly.
Up to it. But so he has to, he has to do that because reasons. I don't know what the next slide is, but so there's the reasons. He gets to the top, which is a great.
I regret to say I have a bat in my belfry.
Well, after this is when he gets assaulted by all the goons, and this is where I really like the influence that you can tell in the Arkham games, where like all the goons are quite specific. I just really like it, man. Wait, I do have the there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
this dude.
Yeah,
just hits him in the balls too. Just it's like some sort of like. That's my favorite one because he doesn't have to fight him.
Yeah,
it just
falls through the floor.
Man, this black dude is like they gave him his moment to shine, man.
What's especially funny is he like starts just laying in body shots on the body. Here you go, and on the body armor, it does nothing. Then later on, Joker punches him once and it breaks his hand. This dude is like just
the T1000
going to teeing off.
You can argue that this guy's got a little bit more experience than Doughy Jack Nicholson's Joker there.
Yeah, but still, I mean, how many times can you punch somebody in body armor before your wrist just can't take it anymore? The Batman's testicle crusher, as our testicle crusher.
And this is the only time that in the movie so far where Batman directly kills somebody. Like,
well, I mean, he did drop a bomb on like 20 people.
Yeah, but he didn't do it with like his bare fists. So like, you know, he took the time to throw this guy off.
That's true. Yeah. Plus, one thing I really do like is the fact that you really see this Batman bloodied and bruised and all dirty from the fights.
Yes,
this is one thing I love about this.
Batman was prepared for any kind of criminal except the black one. And this is the only time you actually see the bang gun, which is pretty fun.
Yeah,
they don't really use those anymore in the live action Jokers, you know.
They used to be a way to get around like censorship rules and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and especially during the Comics Code era. And then eventually they turned him into like he would fire it, it would go bang, and then he would pull the trigger again, and it would shoot an actual. They would actually shoot the flag. But I do like that they did this because up to this point he's had a couple of comedic guns. He had like the super wide barrel one that's basically a shotgun. He had the long barrel one. He had the tiny the
boxing glove one.
The boxing glove gun, yeah. The fact that this one hadn't shown up and they do it in the last 10 or so minutes, the last 5 minutes of his screen time is pretty cool.
You idiot!
Batman gets him, dude. That was it.
You created me. Well, you created me first.
And then I'm like, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses on now, would you?
That's so good. And then also he can cops the teeth up too.
Yep.
And it's just like
you're assuming he has all this shit in his pockets, like just in case. Like,
I mean, it's this idea
they don't make them like they used to, and they start.
Yeah, this idea that like Joker is not really a physical match for Batman by any means at all. You know, I kind of always like that. I mean, it's only until Heath Ledger showed up and other, you know, comic book iterations where like they try to make Joker actually like physically intimidating, which
he always was in the comics. He was a little thinner, but he had the height advantage on Batman and all that. But yeah, there was no way that 52-year-old Jack Nicholson is taking on like however old Michael Keaton is in this.
Probably in his 30s, I would guess.
I would have to assume.
Well, let's see. I mean, I said he was 72 before, and this came out in 89, filmed in 88. So you're talking about 35 years ago. So 72 minus 35, he'd be what? That'd be 37.
Yeah, late 30s.
He's stomping on the bricks. Sometimes I just kill myself.
Yeah.
And you see, there was a railing, so everyone fell.
Only because there's a railing.
There is a railing problem.
And this to this day is one of my favorite on-screen like final boss deaths because it's just something about it. The whole like how he slowly falls down the ladder, all of it, and his fucking stupid goons who can't see that he's hanging from a goddamn gargoyle that's like the size of him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like all they had to do is simply just pull the helicopter over to the left.
Slightly. Yeah, just right over the building. He could have just untied it, and then they could have just went about their days.
You see, I agree with Gord. To me, even when I was watching the movie, to work for the stream, you know, I really think that the way that he died still scares the shit out of me because it's so fast because it's the gargoyle that's pulling him down, you know, and the way that they do,
even though that doesn't make sense, by the way.
Yeah,
he would fall the same rate no matter what.
Yeah, but it's the way that they do it, and plus the way that I guess it's the effects or something like that. It's so freaky. Yeah, it's really, really scary, man. Well,
it's because he goes into the darkness. It's because he disappears. That's what makes it so creepy.
Well, and also it looks like he's falling fast. Like it really does. It's a good effect.
He goes like right to like terminal velocity immediately.
You know how like when a little kid gets interested in something, they'll just annoy the shit out of you. I remember specifically thinking in my head, it was like, Mom's getting real annoyed with this because I was asking maybe not so much about the physics, but how Joker hits the ground on this and going like, wouldn't he just like splatter? And she's like, I don't know. Like, why is he laughing? Why is he laughing? It's called a laugh box. Well, why would anyone want to buy a little box that laughs? She's like, I don't know, just watch the movie.
He's the Joker, man. There's no rhyme or reason to his insanity.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, I do have the last clip of Joker, and I agree with Gord. It is the build-up with the sense of dread beforehand.
Oh yeah.
Which, let me play the clip.
By the way, their spines would be like snapped.
Oh, his arm would be literally ripped off, dude.
Yeah.
His arm would be ripped off, and their bodies would have just continued falling.
Even if he had felt like he had in the other ones, like the impact of that would have broken your spine. Like,
it would have broke his back, and she would have not been able to hold on. I don't care if she weighs 108, 98. I don't care. Like,
yes, asking my mother's about the specifics of this, going like, even as a child, this didn't make sense. But God, is it a cool visual?
Yeah, there it is. Who cares? It was still awesome.
And also, props to Jack Nicholson's Joker, who must be able to do a hell of a lot of chin-ups for being able to keep that gargoyle on his leg for as long as he did, holding onto that ladder, enough to not only break it from its mount, but then hold it while it's tugging.
Yeah, it's also the red in his eyes that scare me. Just before the fall, he doesn't say anything. There's no witty line or nothing. It's just like pure suffering, and then boom, it's gone.
Yeah, no, that's just Nicholson just being a boss, like just killing it right there, because he's conveying it even with those prosthetics on his face. Like, you get everything you need to know about that scene.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Yeah, Elfman's score was one of the best characters in the film. Yeah, I love Elfman.
I agree with that.
Elfman, I mean, if it wasn't for John Williams existing, Elfman would have went down as probably the best composer of all time. Either him or Silvestri, one or the other.
That's true.
Well, Danny Elfman can't read music, so he gets points deducted for that big time.
Well, really, I think he should get more, because he's he's operating without like a tool that a lot of people use.
Man, weirdly enough, like this is a weird like thing, but I learned it today when they were doing Pirates of the Caribbean 3. Hans Zimmer had the director of the movie, Gore Verbinski, play the guitar for the score because they were actually running out of budget, and Gore Verbinski really knew how to shred the fucking guitar. So he was like, "Yo, you do it, and I'll direct you for the score." I don't know. That was just like a weird fact that I found out about today, and I was like,
Hans Zimmer also can't read music. He uses computer programs for all of his composing.
Yeah, he just directs people to do the music, basically. It's just like, hey man, I like this key. Do it higher or do it lower. That's pretty much it. Like, he doesn't really write the music. Other people write it. He just mixes it together. Just this is the last time we see man, what's his name? I already forgot his name. You see.
Knox.
Yeah, Knox. There you go. Thank you. Knox.
Did we skip past the Joker laugh scene where it goes?
Well, there was just a still from it. We didn't actually have the clip.
Right.
I mean, you had something to mention about it, or?
No, I was going to just say it's very creepy that the chattering teeth which you see on the, and he's it's just that's something that stayed with me.
Yeah, that soundbite. I mean, if I heard that laugh, I know exactly where that's from.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine you're walking like in an alley in the middle of the night, and you hear that behind you. I would run. I wouldn't even look behind. I just run.
Yeah, I'd be gone.
Knowing uninspired, he'd leave his car behind. He'd be like, "No, you can have my car."
I'm in Texas, dude. I'll just pull out my gun and be like, "Who's out there?"
and then he'd be like, "And if that gun doesn't work, I have my backup gun."
Yeah.
And my gun has a gun.
Dick. No.
Benzo is carrying like 4 guns at all time. The normal gun, the backup
his
gun.
literally sprouts an arm and has a gun of its
Yeah,
own.
dude. It's kind of like the priest in Hot Fuzz. It's like just comes out from his sleeves.
I got like 2 shotguns, like swords on my back.
Yeah, so the police is a big fan of Batman now, so they have the bat symbol. Meanwhile,
He gave us a signal.
Yeah, the signal, and Vicky
Which
Vale.
I like how it's on the ground. They now have to get it up to the top of City Hall.
That's true.
It was a signal. It was delivered by Wayne Enterprises today.
It says Wayne Enterprises right on the side. And his butler dropped it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vicky Vale goes with Alfred, and there he is, the Dark Knight himself, looking at his signal. Man, this is like one of the coolest shots ever, man.
Yeah.
Oh, also,
So
this is
nice.
like peak soundtrack too, and we never hear this. Like I said, we never hear this awesome like love theme, the variation of the Batman theme in any other Batman movie.
It would actually be
like,
more
man.
impressive if I wasn't staring at it on Golden's icon this whole time.
Yeah.
He is Batman, you see.
I wanted to find an appropriate image. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just messing with you, man. No, it actually worked well.
Dude, go and speak as Batman in his spare time.
Yeah,
that's it.
Good stuff.
Oh man,
British
And the-
Batman. He actually just he just beats people with quippiness. He's just like you shouldn't be doing that.
Excuse me, can you stop being scandalous?
I'm doing my job to take all edged weapons off the street.
But yeah,
Have you got a license for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Batman '89, and here are a few BTS stills that I could.
That left one is fantastic. You could tell Kim Basinger was not happy in that picture.
She's
She's
probably
Yeah,
tired
there's all
as
this
hell.
camera crew down there looking right up her skirt.
like, hey, I mean, she's been
free
naked in
show.
several movies. I'm sure she's fine with it.
Yeah, there was like a grip, like great day at work today, man. It was like every time I looked up.
Kim Basinger.
There it is, man. Yeah, that was Batman '89, ladies and gentlemen.
Poorly narrated by Dark Hour because I'm terrible at that shit.
He did his best. He did his best.
I need a script. I need to actually read off of a script. I can't go off the cuff like that. It also doesn't help that I didn't do the still, so I don't know what's coming next. I'm just like, okay, I'm going, and I don't know what's next.
I guess we'll do the round table for the final thoughts on the film. Golden, let's start with you, man.
Overall, Batman '89 is a film with a lot of charm that really changed the superhero genre. It's probably one of the films that changed it the most, really, by subverting that whole comedic, piss take of what people thought superheroes were like, and kind of said, right, we're going to give you a darker version. And it's something that is seen with all these movies. Its effects are so long lasting, whether that's to do with soundtrack and how that affected all movies going forward and how they were produced, or the just general tone, or things like that. So it's absolutely phenomenal, and it is a historic film in many regards. But it's been fun to go through all those scenes. Some of them, they just quickly go past you. You don't even remember them, and then when you get to them, you're like, that's pretty nice. But yeah, it's a film with so much meaning, and a lot of it is in some places over exaggerated, of course, because that is Burton's style. He tends to go a bit over the top, but it's good at really having a visual representation of what's going through the characters' minds. You can really see that. And as I said at the beginning, a lot of it, you could think it's a bit corny, but I think, if you're someone who is going in to watching this with an open mind, you can see the charm and you can understand it, and you can have a nice, you're not going to be laughing at it, you're going to be laughing with it. That's what I get in many scenes. So yeah, phenomenal. And all the performances are great, even if Knox, who we think is pretty redundant in this movie, I think still, not a bad performance, still adds something. That's about it, really. I feel like we've analyzed all the scenes perfectly.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Stupenzo? What you got to add?
I mean, yeah, you love it for nostalgic reasons. It's probably one of those movies you'd show to kids today, and they'd be vastly underwhelmed by it. But I don't care. Screw these stupid kids. Yeah, and it's just one of those movies. Like I said, it just really put. I mean, like I said, Big Top Pee Wee kind of put Tim Burton and Danny Elfman together, like on the map. But this kind of really solidified them as like a force to be reckoned with in the 80s and early 90s cinema. Like all the stuff that would come subsequently after this is, very Tim Burton-y, very Danny Elfman. But yeah, I'd say this is probably Elfman's like best score out of all the movies he's done, which is, saying a lot because he's done
arguably. Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's just a fun, it took itself radically more seriously than most comic book movies, but still has that camp factor, still has that comic book feel, that old time 50s, detective movie, film noir. It's got all kinds of stuff going for it, and it's just fun. I mean, and yeah, you can see kind of with the new HD transfers, you see the wires, you see kind of the plot holes kind of stand out a bit, but you're willing to look past them, I think, just because of the charismatic performances, as well as the just very unique set design and production design that's going on with this movie. Because even like the subsequent Batman movies, like Returns and the Schumacher movies, they're going for that vibe, but they don't really have the same vibe as this original one. It's kind of very unique.
Yep. What about you, Sammy?
You know what? Honestly, I'd give this like going through like a critical scope. Realistically, I would give this like an 8.5. I mean, I'm not going to ignore like its cultural significance and what it did for the superhero genre. The actors are good. But it's not like in the upper levels of like great films, but it is a fun film. I would argue that I think you could sit down kids at this era and they would still have fun. They might definitely ask probably the same questions that I asked as a kid, where they're like, well, this is, why is this? But it is by no means bad. It is its style is completely realized. Danny Elfman, his score just brings it to another level. And it might be probably the most iconic thing about the film is his score, arguably. And, it paved the way for like Batman, the animated series and everything. There's a lot to be said about what this film had to offer. So, I love this movie. After doing this, I might watch it after I'm done doing this stream. Like, I just love this movie.
We've talked a lot about the score, so I just have a question for everyone. Of course, with Superman, people always, whenever you picture Superman, most people will hear the John Williams theme. Would you say that the Batman theme that Danny Elfman did is as intrinsically linked to Batman as it is for you with Superman and the John Williams theme?
I would.
I don't know. I do love the 2-note Hans Zimmer theme from Batman Begins. Dun dun. I mean, it's so simple, but obviously for me, yes. But I think for most people, there's like those Hans Zimmer scores are pretty influential. But I don't know. Nothing beats the John Williams.
Weird. Like, I don't know. I don't really associate a specific score to Batman the same way I do with Superman. I don't know why.
Right.
Well, they've
tried John Williams did such a good job.
They've tried to like sort of recreate that with Superman over the years. They've tried to keep the John Williams one, just update it and like do other. Whereas Batman went through more changes as he went along.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, for me, for this movie. So obviously you had the 70s and early 80s Superman movies, and they dipped off toward the end. 3 and 4 not nearly as well regarded as 1 and 2. For me, this movie kind of reinvigorated the comic films for the 90s. It was mostly Batman, unfortunately. There wasn't really much else going on. I mean, eventually you got Blade and stuff down the line, but you know, it seems like with comic films, there's like an ebb and flow. There's always this, you know, there's something that sparks it, and then it goes up to this high, and then something, and then it really roller coasters right back down. And this was another one of those crests that happened, and it rode it for a little while, and then it lost the momentum toward the end. I mean, I always say that I think Forever gets a lot of flack. I think it's better than a lot of people make it out to be. But Batman and Robin is like it's so bad it's good kind of territory. Yeah. And then it lost that momentum, unfortunately, and then they had to reboot it with Batman Begins. But it all really originates with this, and I just wish that we could have got to see where it would have went without switching from Keaton and, you know, the whole way that they had it set up with Tim Burton.
Well, the only reason Keaton walked is because they wouldn't let Burton come back.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the one thing to this day. I just wish we could have saw the final product, the third and maybe possible fourth movie through their lens. But as for one, like this one and Returns, I always just like them. I think that they have a lot of character, kind of like Golden said, and they are definitely products of their time, though. They're hard sells on someone who's younger a lot of times.
And so my question would be, who do you guys think could pull off a good live action Batman? Except Carl Urban. No, I said Jensen Ackles, actually.
Well, are we talking about a young Batman, or are we talking about like a grizzled veteran Batman?
If we're talking about a grizzled veteran Batman, I say just bring back Ben Affleck, man. Give him a few years and bring back Ben Affleck. But if I'm talking about like a nice, let's say 30s Batman.
Scott Adkins is like, it should be. I don't know how they haven't put those two together, like the character and him together. He could have been an amazing Batman.
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, fuck no.
I'm kidding.
I can't think of anybody to like, you know what I mean? I was skeptic about Ben Affleck until I saw Gone Girl, and then I was like, okay, this might work. Yeah, I liked who's the guy and they were actually talking to him. Who's the dude who plays Reacher? I think he could pull it off.
Alan Richardson.
And then the other guy that the one who plays Soldier Boy in The Boys, I think he's got the chin for it.
Jensen Ackles, dude. I think 100%
he's going to be the top guys right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that would be my guess. Like that would be my personal pick for Batman.
Jennifer Lawrence. She'd be the first Batman.
Yeah, she was the first female action star.
Yeah, she's the first Batman.
Yep.
Well, Dark Hour, you want to add anything else to what we've said about the thoughts on the movie?
No, that's pretty much. I've always just viewed this as it's a cool little timepiece. You know, it's it was for its era. Like I said, it caused a spark in the comic films of the time. Unfortunately, it didn't really translate into, you know, what like we might call like the MCU effect, where other ones got more popular as well. I really, to this day, I wish we would have got that old Batman versus Superman that was hinted at back then. It was Keaton, and, you know, like the Keaton version. I guess they couldn't have possibly done it. He would have had his horse accident by then. But
how about a Michael Keaton Batman versus Nicolas Cage Superman?
There we go. Yeah, I was like, yeah, the horse accident would have happened already, so we couldn't really
do better. Nicolas Cage Batman versus Nicolas Cage Superman.
Face-off style. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with that, you know. Yeah. I enjoy the movie, but I can see why people will criticize it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, how dare you?
You're all wrong.
You're all wrong.
Yeah, like I'm the same with you. I mean, to me, it's not really like Sammy. You know, for him, it's a comfort movie. For me, it's just, you know, a movie that I can appreciate, and I appreciate the time that it was made in. I appreciate the decor, of course, and everything around that. It's not a movie that I would rewatch as much as I would rewatch, for example, something like Back to the Future. You know, I'd probably rewatch this once every 3-4 years. But man, I still enjoy the film. You know, I watched it twice this week for the stream, and yeah, I liked it. Yeah, despite its flaws, I still really enjoy it, and it is a big stamp in history at this point. So yeah, since we've done the round, I guess it's time for everybody to plug your shit, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. Tell the people what you're going to do, what you have done, or what is in the works. So I guess I'll start with, well, Sammy is in here, so Stupenzo, plug your shit, my man.
Well, I guess I'm going to go live in about 2 hours and change, do my weekly Tales from the Dork Side live stream, which you guys are all invited to if you want to come. I think we're going to talk about the gay Olympic ceremony, which has been scrubbed from the internet entirely. It's hard to find right now. Also, I don't know, this whole Doctor Doom thing, and briefly talk on Deadpool. I think next week I'm going to do another specialized show. I think we're going to talk about every X-Men movie and video game and stuff we could think of. We're going to just do the X-Men stream next week, so it'll be a little
I'll be there for that for sure.
Yeah, so this week is going to be kind of just more chill hangout stream, probably start around 7:30. And then Wednesday, I'm going to have Night of the Comet come out, full-length commentary video. Still need to record it, by the way, so probably have to do that soon. But yeah,
record it live.
Yeah, I mean, I can knock it out in an hour and a half, right? And upload it in another 20 minutes. It's fine. I don't have to worry about copyright fuckery with that movie, thank God. So
no,
I did have a good weekend, went out of town, so had to take it easy on the YouTube stuff for a while. And I'm back, and I'm back in the man cave for the first time in a while. It's not hot. Despite what the EU tries to tell us about the hottest summer of all time, it's actually like a very temperate 80 degrees down here in Texas. So, which I know kills English people when it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So
they're like, Golden is over there like, what's that in Celsius? I don't speak American.
That is exactly what I'm thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
I think 8. Well, I know that like 75 is like what you guys called your heat wave the other, like not too long ago. Like it was like,
and we're all like, sounds nice.
Yeah, hold on, I'll tell you right now. Oh, yeah, okay.
It's 26 degrees Celsius. We've probably declared that a national emergency.
Right, exactly.
Dude,
Texas, that's just Tuesday.
Yeah, we've had like only like single digit 100 plus degree Fahrenheit days, you know.
Yeah, we only had one here in Jersey. We've had a lot of humidity though.
It's been raining a whole lot. I love it though.
Dude, every single day here is 39 degrees Celsius, man. I'm fucking boiling.
Bloody hell.
Nice
yeah, dude. Too. Like legitimately, I'm fucking boiling, bro. It is hot.
I love that was the most British thing that just happened on this show ever. Bloody hell.
Here's a tip for anyone out there who's in England or any of these other European countries and where houses don't really have air conditioning pre-installed. Get a fan, and if the fan isn't good enough, get a couple of bowls, fill them with very cold water. If you want, put in some ice cubes, place them in front of the fan at a safe distance, and 8 hours later, your room should be pretty cool. That's what I've done, and it's worked successfully. Loads of people around me
what's going on in Europe?
Oh my God, it's boiling. They're saying, oh my God, I can't stand this. I can't sleep. I can't do anything. Literally, just get a couple of bowls, fill them with cold water, place them in front of a fan at a safe distance, and you will be fine.
What the hell is going on in Europe where you guys are like, we have to go back to the like Victorian era of like,
dude, we don't have ACs in our houses, man. That's
okay. I mean, there are like portable AC units.
Dude, fuck a portable AC. I'd prefer just getting one in my house, dude. Like,
uninspired's like my family's from Africa. I can handle this shit,
dude. For real, man. Like, well, in Africa, you have ACs built in almost every single part of your house, dude. It's only when I moved to Europe that I was like, man, you guys don't have ACs, really? This is kind of fun.
All those environmentalists out there in Europe. America's just like, give us 2 air conditioners. We're gonna have 2 air conditioners. I want a central air unit and a window unit. I want to be iceboxed.
Or I just stream from my basement.
There you go. Well, speaking of streaming from your basement, Sammy, man, plug your shit. Let the people know where you're gonna be.
I'm Sammy 3Pete. You can find me on Twitter as Sammy 3Pete or YouTube as Sammy 3Pete or probably Outlook as Sammy 3. I've just been hanging out doing my regular circuit. You can always find me on Gooch's channel. We have our animation block Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Sometimes you'll find me on Zach's channel doing Circle of Jerks. I've been doing a stream with Nadia for House of the Dragon, which has been, fun to talk with them, but
I'm gonna get on one of those soon.
We've been wanting to have you on, and then
I officially caught up now that Acolyte is done and all that stuff. I was having trouble keeping up with both shows while I was doing like the videos for the one. So now that that's the Acolyte's done, I was able to catch up in House of the Dragon.
And then when that's done, I usually just like to spend Sundays hanging out with Stupenzo and doing whatever circus he has lined up for me to eventually fall asleep to. He's more of a marathon runner. I'm more of a sprinter. But otherwise, I have a couple projects I'm working on. I just dropped a live album a little bit ago. Feel free to check that out. It's for free on YouTube. And then I did my first video. People seem to have liked it. I reviewed the Fleischer cartoons, and that's
it was a good video, man. It was a great video, actually. For a first video, it's pretty impressive, man.
Thank you.
Way better than my first video. That's for damn sure.
I took some time. I also have experience with just like sound recording and stuff, just from being a musician.
Yeah, I had to teach myself like sound recording, scripting, editing, all of it. I had to script. I had no experience in any of that. So you could tell in my first video that this was like very much like my first video project of all time.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'll just line up the pictures here, and I think I got it down. But no, I got a couple things I'm working on, but that's pretty much it. I appreciate the invite, and I had a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming on,
man. Yeah,
I did tell you I was going to try to get you on as soon as I can. I've been trying to do that with people. The guest book is getting thick, though, guys. If you want on the show, you gotta get in on this soon.
What about you, Golden Age? What have you got coming out?
Well, this has been a great stream. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking about Batman 89. As for me, I'll just be doing more videos on my channel, Golden Age Geek. I'm about 75 subs away from 3,000. So if any of you out there not yet subscribed, then please do your boy a favor and go over there and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And I can't wait to do our next movie review. I don't know which one exactly that is, but I'm sure it will be a
The Karate Kid has been postponed to I'm not sure when yet. So
we just need to find a date. Yeah.
But you are in for a few. I already am starting with next year's bookings, actually. And you were one of the people who was interested in doing the year-long franchise for Back to the Future. So that's automatically 3 right there.
Back to the Future. I've recently revisited those movies. Such fun.
Yeah, I need people for the year-long franchise. I need someone like people who I know are reliable that can show up for every single one of them. So it's but that actually ended up being a problem this year because I tried to do it with Indiana Jones, and literally the panel for each one has ended up different.
That's true.
I was like, but yeah.
All right. Well,
uninspired. You're gonna go next.
Yeah, man. I'm working on a Deadpool video right now. Deadpool 3. I watched the movie. It got the uninspired juices flowing into inspired juices. So yeah, I guess I'll be making a video on that. It'll take me out of my hiatus. Don't expect it as soon as Dark Hour and Vex's videos, because I don't know how the fuck these dudes do this shit in like 3 days. It is impossible for me to do that. It takes me even when I didn't have a job, it took me a full week to get a video out. So I don't know what type of magic these motherfuckers are using. So
apparently, I think you might actually be better off being a little later on it. I have a feeling that like most people aren't even going to watch videos on it because everyone's trying to see the movie. So you actually it might actually end up being better for you.
Yeah, so expect the video in about probably a week or two's time. Probably next week, next weekend. Yeah, so around the 10th or the 11th, it's gonna be out there. It's gonna be a nice, full, long, comprehensive videos because there's a lot of stuff that I want to break down in terms of the script writing and what can be improved and what they did well as well. It's like the usual type of reviews that I do. And yeah, Dark Hour does have a cheat code. He does have help. So yeah. And of course, we have some two host stuff to plug. We have two hosts next week Sunday.
Yeah, next Sunday. Next Sunday is my birthday, so we decided
Next
to do
Sunday
it
on Dark Hour's birthday. Yeah, so we're doing True Lies, ladies and gentlemen. With are we allowed to say the guest? Yeah, we are.
Of course. Yeah,
all right. So we're doing True Lies with Drinker next week, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be on Sunday, 4 p.m. EST. Probably going to be a 2-hour stream.
Yeah,
and of course we also have the two host Discord that we said, which was in the chat. So yeah, join the Discord. It's nice. It's official. Professor Artu has been helping us develop the Discord. And
I'm going to start dropping that in other Discords I'm in that for specific shows and stuff. It'll start to help people keep track of this. I'm going to put the schedules there. It's going to tell you when the show starts. All sorts of great stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for the two host stuff. Dark Hour. You just have to plug your Deadpool video, right?
Yeah. So I released a Deadpool video about, I don't know, like 6-7 hours ago. Hopefully that does well. Who knows? This is one of those random. Videos could do great or terrible with this one. It's kind of like Dune 2. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it was a great movie in terms of like technical aspects, but in terms of fun, it was great. Next, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do next after that. The only thing I'm really interested in going forward is, at least for the next month, is probably Alien Romulus.
Yeah, same. No, actually, I'm interested in Trap. I want to see Shyamalan again, bro.
But yeah, other than that, we have like you already did the two host stuff, and that's all I really got. So
that's pretty much it. Just want to say massive thank you to everyone on the panel, man. Also Vex. Vex is gone. But yeah, Sammy, 3 Beats to Penzo, Golden Age. Absolutely love having you guys on. And massive thank you to everyone in the chat as well for watching.
Thank you for a good year on this show. This year and actually, I have a special outro today that was assembled by me and Tyler. Tyler did most of the assembled all the people who have been on the show, and I actually changed the music to it. I AI rendered some music that was the best I could do, because those things only allow you to do like 5 songs a day. So I had to just keep going every day and trying. This will do. So, but yeah, so. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the guests, for the past year. It's been fun, and enjoy this little outro here.
Cheers.